This is the one that I'm probably looking forward to the next project. More. So, most of you should already know what this is and what it's going to be. Another E30. This one's a Bauer, so kind of like a convertible, but not really. I had to pick a Bauer for the project because there's already extra reinforcements in the back, because this is going to get turned into a ute. We've got the donor tub up here and the rear window. So we cut all of this back out, cut all of the tub out, and then put it into the E30. This one's got damage on the front quarter. Picked it up extremely cheap, and I'll probably part out part of it as well. Engine's still good. Then the trade we did yesterday, rear canvas and the cover that goes over the canvas when it's down, we traded that for a passenger door, because the one that is on there ain't no good. And we also got a bonnet, because again, the other one is rusty and there's already enough work in there to do without adding rust repairs to it. So we're going to swap the bonnet over, and then I'll just give this one away. The other door doesn't have the window mechanism in there, and I'm going to have to mess around with that. Hi me. Also trying to track down a roof cut out of a coupe, so I can remove this and the canvas top and then have just a solid slick top roof. Seats come out, tracking down some M4 seats. Boot comes off, parcel shelf comes out, all of this just gets removed. We chop it somewhere around here, and then that window gets placed here with the tub back. Haven't quite worked out if I'm going to do a tailgate yet. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe. Maybe not though. So we'll get the bonnet off, swap that over, have a look at what the door's got going on. This one has electric windows, which is really good, but it just means there's more to swap over into the other door. But front seat's no good. Passenger seat's all right. Dash, as always with these, cracked. I do have a E36 steering wheel and column, and we're going to be trying to put that in, so then I have steering wheel controls. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the dash, so I'll just leave that for now, but basically none of what's sitting here is going to be staying on. Not going to be reusing the cluster. Trying to update it so it's as much a new car as possible, really. So yeah, we'll get the bonnet over, swap that out, and that should be it. Nice. Didn't get the lines too bad. It's going to have to come off another 100 times between now and finishing the project. Yeah, that's a pretty good fit. Nice. It's basically all got to go. Most of the interior, boot, parcel shelf's steel bit I'm gonna have to cut out. I'm even removing the spare wheel well, because I won't even be able to get in there by the time I put the tub. And this is going to be a very long-term project. I've got a couple of parts that I've already picked up that I'll be reconditioning and then probably installing straight away, just so I don't have this huge accumulation of bits in my workshop. We're going to do a 5-stud conversion, whole bunch of stuff. Welcome back. All right, so engineer tomorrow. That means, so I haven't been doing anything to either of the cars because I don't know what the engineer is going to say. As soon as he says, yep, cut it all up, bang, cutting it all up. But just before that, we've got to do a couple of things to prep the E30. So the engineer can see what's going on with all of the metal structure. We just need to remove the seats. I've got a spare tank in the back as well, like a long distance tank. So we'll take that out, take the carpet out of the boot, and then tomorrow the engineer comes around. Yay! Right. All right, we're halfway there. Hey, 10 cents! We're rich. Now, seats are held in. Give me the camera. By that nut there, and then the same one, and then you just lift it up. Oh, $1. With the first E30 that I owned, came with these aftermarket sports seats, and after owning it for about a year maybe, I found $1 down in the the driver's front seat, and I was like, $1, that's pretty cool. Then I found another one, and then I spent like 45 minutes digging out all of the coins, and I think I pulled out like $44 worth of coins. So
it's not bad.
Let's see how many we can get.
Play enjoy itself.
Only 3,499 to go. This is way easier with a convertible or a Bauer. All right. Nice. Oops. We're up to $1.15. Okay, I think I gotta pop that off. Toolbox is too far away. Definitely going to need to do something about that. All right, parcel shelf out. Nope, not yet. Dodgy wiring, wonderful. All right, so now we have panel seam visible. We can see all of the little spot welds. This panel is probably going to come out, or definitely going to come out. Back panel, right here, that'll have to come out. I don't know how high or low the tub's going to sit, but there's a seam right here, and that may need to be trimmed down. Obviously we've got the body harness here, which is all going to have to get redirected underneath the tub, and we've got the wheel arch, which is going to be another interesting thing, as we've got to work out what rear suspension we're putting on here, because we're doing the 5-lug conversion, but I may want to try and get a shorter strut than the E30 and E36, just so we can get a little bit more height on, or bring it down below the tub, so we don't have an issue where it's just ruining the tub size. So we'll work through all of that, but we've got it to the point where the engineer should be able to just take a look in here and go, yeah, okay, cut it all out, reinforce here, here and here, and go from there. So that's that one done. Now we've got to get into the trunk and remove the long distance fuel tank. All right, I think that's probably just enough. All right, looks like we've got a decent antenna in here. Seatbelt looks all right. Strut towers aren't in as far as I thought they would be. I may be able to make a cap for them, but we'll see how that goes. See how wide the wheel arches in the tub of the jumbuck go, and then go from there. But yeah, I don't really want to mess with the fuel tank right now. Engineer can see what's going on. Going to be removing the wheel tub. It just takes up too much space. When the tub goes in, I'm not going to be able to use it anyway. So I think that's enough for the day. All right, we've been working on the jumbuck all day. I sold the engine last weekend, so no engine, all gone. We've been stripping the body parts off of it the last couple of hours. This is Eden. This is who will be helping me do most of the conversion.
Howdy, how are we?
You do panel beating, engineering.
Bit of everything. Yeah. Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah,
so we've got most stuff covered. Most of the interior's out. Found someone who wanted the fuel tank, a tow bar, everything.
We got a few litres of fuel out of it as well.
Yeah, the fuel tank was full. Luckily, someone who was buying a part, owns a workshop, wanted to buy the rest of the car, so we're in his workshop now. We've got our lines marked out. We've got our bag of tools. We're going to use the metal cold cut and just cut the car up. So we'll set the camera up. We've only got 3 hours, so we're on a bit of a time crunch. Let's see if we can pull this tub out. Sorry to anyone who owns a jumbuck. That's probably painful to watch. We've done most of the cutting I think we need to do. Now we've got to drill out every single little spot weld, and then peel the skin back, and then probably a little bit more cutting. So we'll get this done, and we've got another 2 hours. We'll see how we go. Eden already blew up one of my angle grinders.
Not DeWalt's fault.
Alright, so we've picked out a bunch of these spot welds. There's probably still one or two more. We've cut down, and now we're at the time consuming part, the 20% that takes longer than the rest of the work. So I think we're gonna unpick these, and everything from here we're just gonna do nice and slow, peel it back and let it reveal itself to us. Yeah? What do you think about that, Eden?
Sounds like fun. I'm gonna cut along there with the grinder.
Oh, in here?
In here.
Yeah, yeah, so we can separate that somewhere around here.
Out underneath if there's
anything fancy going on. So, we're not going to get this done today. It's just not going to happen. We are making plans to come back on Thursday night and then try and remove the rest of it because we're on a tight schedule and it didn't work out. So, we're going to have to come back. But we'll start peeling the layers of the onion. Yeah, really get into it. All right, we're back in the workshop. It's Thursday night. We're hoping to get this done tonight, aren't we, Eden?
Hopefully, if all goes well.
Yeah.
Looking promising, but you know, it's never as easy as they say.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, Eden's going to start unpeeling this onion, trying to work out how to separate the tub from the main body. So we've got the tub in here, which is in here. That's the bottom of the tub. So if we can just peel back all of the layers and hopefully release the tub, then I'm gonna start over here. Same kind of thing. We've got some spot welds there, spot welds here, undo this bracket and just peel this corner unit off, and then maybe do the back, and then we should be pretty close to just maybe doing a couple more cuts and then removing the whole tub from the car. We've got it set up in between the posts. We've got some slings. Hopefully in an hour or two we'll hook up the slings to some lifting points and just start yanking on it, hoping that it comes out. Yeah. Plan?
Easy as that.
Sweet. That went way better than expected. So this whole corner is free from the tub, so this whole section can get removed with the bed. Yeah, cool. There's still other bits that are connected, but I mean, who cares? So you saw Eden cleaning them off and then drilling them out. We've worked out that there's another sandwich layered spot weld right here that does the bed to the chassis rail. So this is going to be separate to the bed, and we'll just have to re-weld that when we get to it.
Might be able to see if I scrape a bit off. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's 2 layers there. Yeah.
2 layers in there. So we've just got to drill these spot welds out and then pick it off of the chassis rail. And then the back half of it should all be pretty loose. So we've got that loose and that loose. Going better than expected, to be honest. Another layer of the onion peeled back. You can kind of, I'm trying to shine the light, but it's ruining it. There, right there, you can see another spot weld, and that's the chassis rail. So we cut down all the way across so we can get to those spot welds, drill out those spot welds, and then I think that's nearly it. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think we're getting pretty close.
We knew there had to be something under there.
Yeah. From crawling underneath, Eden was certain that there was something. I didn't know because I'm real sorry to anyone who likes jumbucks. They are a pretty cool car. I may do one up in the future, but this one just had to make a sacrifice. I believe we've done all of the spot welds. I believe we have.
That looks... Oh, joking.
There's gonna be more. But we've hooked up the slings to these back loops. I think we're gonna try and peel it back. So lift it up where it is here, see what's holding on, release that bit, move forward until the whole thing just lifts out and we've got a tub ready for the E30 Ute. Something else, I reckon that's a triple layer. Let's see how this goes. Hey! How sick is that? Yes! That's awesome.
That's fucking dope. This would be cool as a tray back.
Well, we did it. We did it. How sick is that? That's nuts. So you can see it's completely separated from... Yes. That's awesome. Yeah, okay. So oh, we're caught? No? Ah, you chisel. Get the chisel.
Oh look, I found it.
Yeah.
The 10 mil.
Hey! All right, we got a tub. Rear window. Say hi to the people, Eden.
Hello, people.
That's awesome.
So now we can finally start the tray back conversion on the Proton.
Yeah. I don't think she's gonna make it, man.
That's sick.
There's gonna be a lot of people real upset with this video.
I like it.
Yeah. Wagon? Turn it into a wagon?
No, I reckon tray back is sick.
You probably could. So yeah, we've got still kept the points for the, oh, I can't even remember what that's called. The bit that pivots.
Tailgate.
Tailgate. And this is just gonna hopefully slot right into an E30. But
Easy as that.
easy as that, yeah. What are we now? It's nearly 8 o'clock. Four and a half today, and we did what, 4 hours the other day.
Yeah.
But I mean, how cool. How cool. All right, today we've got Eden here.
There you go.
Gonna get some stuff done. We've got someone coming to pick up the seats and the rear door cards. We've got to brace across pillar to pillar per the engineer's advice, and then parcel shelf out, rear panel out, boot out, and fuel tank out. Let's get into it. We got a little carried away with taking stuff out. We were going to try and get the dash out, but that's a different day's job. How are we travelling, mate?
Getting there. It's almost all stripped. Started putting bracing in.
Yeah, so we've got a first brace in. You're working on the...
Still stripping stuff out. Got to get those boot hinges out. And
yeah.
That tank.
Fuel tank. Once the bracing is in, we're going to start getting this panel out and this panel out, and I think that would be the goal for the day, and I'd be pretty happy with that. But boy, would it be good to have a fucking workshop right now, wouldn't it? It got wet, didn't it?
I mean, you can see the water right there.
Yeah, blowing in sideways.
Yeah.
Eventually.
That's part of the adventure.
Part of the adventure.
Yeah.
High, spirits are still high, so we'll see how we go. Where's my back seat, man? So we've got supports. It didn't cave in on itself at all. And there is a huge amount of room for a tub. We are going to have issues with the strut towers. They are too far in and too high. So we may need to adjust, play, modify, engineer. But yeah, it went well. I've got a couple of days, maybe a day of just unpicking all of this, cleaning it all up, getting what's left of these panels out, unpicking the seams,
Cleaning off the rust.
cleaning off the rust. Yeah, we found some rust spots. Not ideal. You all know about this one. This one looks terrific. There's another one in passenger seat footwell. Another one in the behind the door where that trim goes. But yeah, happy with the efforts. More cleaning up to do. The engine's in. It's been delivered to my dad's workshop. The pallet should have the engine, headers. The headers are made for an E30 and a purple tag, so that's sweet. Loom and ECU. There might be something else on the pallet I can't remember. Oh, 2 radiators. So one's a Mishimoto and I don't know what the other one is. But they're in. Back of the car is empty, so we can go and grab them. Sweet! Alright, we're here. Ready to unbox an engine. Nice! This is it. And what is it? It's a damn S50. Yes. Alright, radiator on the top. I don't know what's in that box. Let's see what's in this box. Coolant overflow? Yeah, coolant overflow. I don't think we're going to use that one. Gearbox mount. Ah, oil cooler. So they did say they might be putting this in, which is sweet. It needs some cleaning, but I mean, we'll still use that. And then engine mounts. Slave cylinder. I've got more engine mounts coming, but I don't know when they'll get here, so they may be used for mocking up. What else do we have? Alright, airbox. Yeah, airbox. Alright, so he was saying this was a little damaged. Okay, so we got a little bit of damage on the core. And I think he was saying the fan was hitting it. Something was hitting it. Still in decent condition. We can make that work. There it is. Here we go. Oh, yes. That's awesome. Gearbox apparently has not great synchros done. That's the part. That's the bit right there that just looks terrific. So these are the headers. I believe these were made by Brintec, and they're made specifically for going around the purple tag steering rack. Now, on the next, I've got another pallet coming still. It's got medium case diff, front coilovers, I've got the, hopefully have the M4 seats on there, and then the full exhaust system's going to be coming as well. So this is the first of 2 pallets. But it's a damn nice pallet. Roll cage guy came over the other weekend. And I was heating up the soundproofing with a heat gun and scraping it off. And he said, don't do that. It's going to take too long. Just use one of these like this. Now hopefully this works, because I've just made a big deal about it. Okay, maybe that was a bad example. Welcome back to another terrific spring day. That's right, we got spring. It's singlet time. Hey, T-Dog. What about you, Gary? Do you like spring? All right, the other day, Eden and I got some stuff done. We removed this. No more room for a spare wheel. We got the dash out.
Lewis, you're
Yes.
absolutely dashing today.
Oh, thanks, dear. Yeah. Today's job, fitting some fancy calipers. So I've picked up some M Performance. There's a difference. So these are M Sport, these are M Performance. These are off of the M140i. I'm not sure if they're off of the M240i. These ones are M3, M4, the big boys. And you can tell by the fact that these have a 340 on them, and then these have 370, 380 written on the back of them. So there is a slight difference, and you can see by the height, the distance from here, and how far the bolts are away from the pad. I did a lot of looking around, and I eventually found a rotor that is going to work. Now this is off a HSV. It has needed a little bit of machining, but it does work. One of the biggest problems with rotors, or trying to find a rotor that's going to be suitable, is the stud pattern. Luckily in Australia we have Holden over here, so they are 5x120, same as BMW, easy enough to find. The next problem, and I'd say probably the most key, because it's not something that you can really modify, is the height. And the height is when sitting like this, from the bottom of the rotor to the top of the rotor. The ones off the M140i are a 75, 73 I reckon height, and I needed 20 mil less. So it's not like you can just machine 20 mil off the back of the rotor and then bolt it up. There'd be nothing left. Luckily, these are off of a HSV. They're a 53 height, but then the next issue was bore. So these are a 69 mil bore, and I needed somewhere in the high 70s. Gotten that sorted, and then the retaining screw, all a very easy fix. Now, I haven't bolted this up yet. Don't know if it's going to work. I've got 18s that will hopefully clear all of the brake, but if it doesn't, I can always machine this down to 340 mil. It's currently 365, and then I can use the M140i caliper. I think that's enough information now. Let's just see if it works. I mean, this could be a fairly straightforward bolt-on brake upgrade. Now, it's overkill. I'm only putting an S50 in there. But if someone was doing an S65 or an S85, where they do need that extra braking capacity, this could be a bolt-on BMW upgrade. So, let's hope it goes together. I had a hard time getting the knuckle onto the coilovers because I left all of the bolts that I needed at home. Ended up having to cut up other bolts to make it kind of fit together, but boy was it painful. That is big. I think that might be too big. So we've gone from 260 single pot to 365 4 pot. Which, I mean, it all bolts together. I mean, without the wheel arch, fender, yeah, sure it fits, but I don't know. Let's see. We'll put the wheel on and see. I don't even know if my wheels are going to clear these calipers. They're E90 wheels, so I hope so. But we might be changing those over and getting the rotors machined to 340, just for a little bit more clearance. All right, let's see if this worked. I'm hopeful. No. No, we don't clear. Dang it. Doesn't clear. She don't move. All right, so, I mean, I guess that answers the question. We probably need to move down to the 340. Howdy, Future Lewis here. I later realised that if you machined the rotor down to the 340, you'd lose too much face or width of the rotor and it would start to chatter on the inside. So I'm going to persist with trying to get a different set of 18s with a more favourable offset and have more brake clearance on the inside. So this is a M Performance G80 caliper, a HMV rotor, an E36 knuckle, and then E36 coilover. It would work. All right, next job, seats. These again are M3 seats. No, M4, because you need to have the tilt function. We're putting them in a ute, not into a sedan. So I've gone out and gotten a small switch wired up, so now we can move things back and forward. As you move things back and forward, it makes it so you can't put the bolt through front and rear, so every time you take the seat in and out, you have to move it back, put the bolt in, move it forward, put the bolt in. I'm going to have to take these seats back to the person who made this switch, Matt, thank you very much, big help. Take these seats back to them, and he's going to have to make a loom specific for each seat to hopefully keep the buttons on the side still functional. I think that's it. Let's get into it. Before trying to make a modification like this, you really want to make sure what you're going to be buying is going to fit. I went to the local BMW dealership, measured the length and the width of the rails, so I was pretty certain that they were going to be close. Went onto Marketplace and found a set of these out of a wrecked M4, and again they had to be M4, not M3, so I have that tilt function. And then when they arrived, just prayed they fit really, and with a little bit of luck and a little bit of measuring, they do. Now this hole closest to the seatbelt buckle, that doesn't get modified at all. That has already had the engineering done as far as how much force the seatbelt can take in a crash, but these other holes, they're all going to need to be modified. The rails are about 5 to 10 mil narrower than an E30 rail, and then the rails are about 50 mil longer, so we have to create a mounting pad further out. And then this one was a pain. We'll get back to this one a little later on. So just back to fitment, we'll move the seat back and forth, double check to make sure we've got a gap down the side of the arch and the seat, and then make sure the seat sits down low enough to have enough head clearance. Here are the plates that I've made to fabricate the pad for one of the mounting holes. I made them out of cardboard, then cut them out of steel, and then just started to weld them into the chassis. So you may have noticed that this is all voiceover. Now, apparently on my camera there's an S&Q function that is for slow-mo, and it doesn't record any sound, and I forgot to change it back off that setting. So for 2 days I did all of the work, did all of the recording, and then had no sound. I really think I should probably hire someone to do all of the video filming and video editing, because my skills definitely are more focused on doing the practical work of welding, fabricating. So we'll just tack it in and then just full send. Out of the 6 mounting holes, I was able to get a 3mm plate welded to the underside of the chassis and a nut welded to that plate. On the 6th hole, I realized I had to do this. Alright, so I've done a little mark here. I'm going to cut that out, weld the nut to the underside of this plate, and then weld the plate in, because I just cannot get the fixing underneath the chassis. If I was going to do this again, I'd probably weld a stud to the underside of these plates, not do the underbody reinforcing, and just have these plates with a stud on every corner, and then the bolt going through on this one. But it's one of those things you just pick up as you go and hope that you're doing it right the first time. Sadly, this time that wasn't the case. It's pretty ugly, but we can fix it up from underneath, put some seam sealer around it. It's sitting flat. The plate has a bow in it, but I can get that out as I'm welding. I'll bolt that down and then hold this side down and tack it, and that will be done. This side plate is already prepped. Let's just get them welded in, because that is the seats finished, and we can call it a day and start cleaning out the bits that I need to get rid of for the tub. Sick! That's all welded up. So on this side, we've got, get my finger in the right spot. There is the 3mm plate, the chassis, another 3mm plate, and then the nut. This one, I've built the pad and then welded a 3mm nut to the underside of the pad, and then it has another 3mm plate. This one has the nut welded to the underside of this plate, and then just clearance inside the chassis. This is the seatbelt one, and this one I haven't modified, it's just got an extra 3mm plate over the top. All right, let's see if this fits, eh? Honestly, I haven't been able to do this and not look awkward yet. Get the battery. Plug the seat in. I really wish I had a plug for this. It moves. That does not look in the right spot. So, this plate had the nut fixed to it. So, if that plate shifts back and forth, it changes the width in between both bolt holes. I'm just like slightly out. I think the fix is die grind just like a couple of mil off this side of the seat rail, and then it'll bolt in. This one's good. The pad that I've made is in a good spot. 2 rears are in. I already know the driver's side fits, so we've got M4 seats in an E30. Yeah, sick. Sick. So I would say probably something like that is going to be about as far back as we can go. This is very upright. Whoever's sitting here is going to want to tilt their seat back a little bit. And we've still got to fit a battery back here because I'd want to clean up the engine bay and I don't have anywhere in the back to put it anymore. So that one's in. Let's see if I can do this not awkwardly. No, I've done it awkwardly again. Oh, God damn it. No. At least I didn't scratch the top of it again this time. Alright, so this one, the exact same side, front, right. I haven't quite gotten it in the right spot, so I just need to die grind a tiny amount out, which is annoying, but I mean, if I wanted it easy, I would have just put E30 Sport seats in there, and I didn't, so clearly I enjoy having to do stupid things. And that is how you mount F80 M4 seats in an E30. I don't know if you want to. They're good, but it's a lot of work. Why did I choose to do this? It's really annoying because I can't move that back because the motor to tilt back and forth is like tucked up in the bolster and I can't get to it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh. Probably shouldn't do that while it's on jack stands. Seats are in. It's really comfortable. And I mean, you would hope so. I don't know how many people find the E30 comfort seats comfortable, but they are not comfortable. You are lying. You are lying to yourself and everyone else if you think they're comfortable. These bad boys, these are sweet. Way more work to put in though, I'll give you that. Comfort seats, they fit. But now, so do these, thankfully. This is good. This is real good. I can't wait for the buttons to work. We've got head clearance, got clearance down the side. I'm probably going to bring a door card in tomorrow just so I can see if the door card fits with the seats. But, I mean, I've got M4 seats. Dang it, Fly. Sitting in here, being able to say I've got M4 seats in an E30. How cool is that? Oh, I just will get the the E46 M3 steering wheel in, then it's going to be sweet. Nice. Real nice. Have fun. Stay safe. Holy cow. I really hope these ones fit. Apparently they should have clearance in the suspension on the coilovers and not poke too far on the guards. I had to stick with the M theme, so they're off of an M car. They are 788M rims off of F87 M2 comp. I wanted something similar to a basket weave, but I've really kneecapped myself with the size of brakes that I've got. These were kind of my only real option, unless I went custom, which would have been twice as expensive. These tyres are gonna need to be changed, so I get as much clearance as I can inside the wheel arch. I'm real excited about this. Let's just put them on. Holy cow. Oh my God, there's so much clearance on that. Ooh. I have about 5mm clearance on the coilover. So if my coilover is any bigger at that diameter, at that spot, that's not gonna fit. But I mean, that is so close.
Oh, so close.
We can fix that with camber though. That is nuts close. That looks so good. Oh my word. So I'll get them powder coated black. They fit. And they spin. Oh baby. Yeah, it is just poking out. Probably needs to be lowered as well. What's our turning circle like? We just clear the front guard. Are we touching? We're not touching anything. Oh my God, they fit. Wait, what about on the other way? The chassis is real close. But we're not, no, we're still not touching. Oh my God, they fit. Holy cow, they actually fit. Nice. Man, I can't wait to drive this thing. But there is one issue that I'm having, and it's every day I don't find an answer out, the issue gets a little bit bigger. So you can see I've got the M3 panels on the front. I paid $3.5 grand for these panels. At the time, the ETA for the rear panels was start of this year. And I paid $5 grand to make sure that I was in the queue. The ETA passed, a new ETA has come around, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna see these panels for another 6 months. And there's a little bit more work that I can do on the tub, but I really need these panels to know I can move forward with the project. So I need the internet's help, and I need the internet's help really badly on this one. You might not know where I can get a set of these panels, but a like, a share, a comment, I need this video out because I need these rear quarters. I need to know how long I'm going to be waiting. I could wait the 6 months from BMW Adelaide, but that ETA can then just get pushed out again. And I can't see myself going back to normal front fenders. The entire time I've been thinking about this project, it was always an M3. And I know people are going to be saying it's not a real M3. Yeah, I get it. It's not. But I want the panels to be genuine M3 panels. I can get them from E30 Norway. They're not genuine. they're still going to cost me about 10 grand by the time we do shipping. So if anyone out there has a set off an M3, genuine brand new, that they're willing to sell, I understand I'm going to have to pay a lot for shipping. I need a set. And the sooner the better, really. I need everyone's help on this. Please, like, comment. If you know someone who may have a set, I'll send you a t-shirt. I'll send it anywhere in the world. I need a set of these panels. All right, we've got Zane from SC Racing here.
Yeah, that's right.
He's going to give us a hand to install the hoop, the roll cage, although it's not really a roll cage.
Roll cage light.
Yeah.
Just don't roll the car.
Yeah. I'll do my best. So, what do you do, Zane?
Roll cages, rally cars, stuff like that. So yeah, all sorts of fabrication to get race cars.
Yep, sick. Yep. From here, we're going to need to remove some of the bracing, but not all of the bracing, just so we can get it in. That didn't move at all. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
It's going to be too tight.
Yeah.
It's good. But just going to have to squeeze it in and then. Oh, you alright? You sit here. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Not bleeding.
No, it was right here. I just want to.
Might try and get.
Do you want the hammer?
Nah, it's got a cut.
Okay.
Bottom, probably on both sides, maybe 10 mil, because we're not going to have plate there anyway.
Yep. Okay. Because we probably want to be. Oh no, that's probably about right. I just want enough clearance to go, because that hole in the B pillar is where the seatbelt buckle goes, or seatbelt goes.
Yeah.
So I want to have enough clearance away from that.
Yeah. And you're just gonna, you'll see a bit of the case with the window or not? You're gonna cover all that?
I'll cover all of it. The window should fit inside it. We've got like, I think 3 jump bucks here to measure off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so you're losing this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when this goes in, the plan is to cut.
Yeah.
Cut.
So all jump back from back there.
Yeah. Well, outside of.
Yeah.
Inside is jump buck. Outside is M3.
Yeah. You can hit it with a metal. You're not going to dent it.
I'm sensitive ears.
Oh, okay. You said that very sensitively.
I think probably around there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to come past here.
Edge there. Okay. That's pretty good. That's almost in line with the B pillar, which is.
And I mean,
right.
I still think that will be inside of the jump buck tub.
Do you need this? Does the seatbelt roller bolt there? The reel?
Yes.
Do you have that?
Not yet.
Okay. That looks about right. Though.
We'd probably want to just give it a little bit, don't we?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Okay. And then just hit the top here.
Yeah.
So aim for there and aim for there.
Yep.
Whatever it is in the middle.
Yep.
That's cool. It's not going to be as tight when we put it in because I'm going to get a ratchet strap. If you got a little ratchet strap.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll just pull it together so it's easy to get in.
Yep. Okay. So then we just.
I think we just go straight up. So like there.
Yep.
Follow that like kind of line there.
Yep.
And then just a plate kind of back
Over
to there
the
somewhere.
top. Over the top, not up to here.
No. I think that's just, yeah. Because it's not as strong up there anyway. Like it's nice because it's a corner. But
yeah.
It's pretty tinny.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, that's tinny as well, but like,
yeah.
you're getting further and further away from where it's actually like kind of attached.
Yeah, where all of the bits meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, this is where it's going to sit. We've got to make sure we clear where the seatbelt barrel goes, and then bolts up to here. So we'll do a plate up to this line, but flat, and then go straight across, making sure we tack all of that together so I can still get my fuel tank in. Alright, so when Zane made it, he made it tight to the outside. We just ratchet strap it so it pulls it in, and then when we release the strap, it will spring back into place, hopefully. That's how it works, isn't it?
That's the plan, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what I'm doing. Right. So go planing a little bit.
Can I ratchet any more?
I can, yep. Perfect. How's that? Happy?
You're gonna have to go back a bit. Yep. That's like pretty spot on. I don't.
So you want, I'm going to go forward a little bit and then tilt it. Oh, I guess we just
I didn't want to go past there. We don't have to be in line with it though.
Okay, so you're pretty happy with right there.
Like honestly, right there. Yeah. Okay. Let me take some beauty shots with the camera.
That's tight.
Yeah, that's perfect. So we've still got room for the seat belts. We definitely want to make sure we tack that.
Yep.
I do not want to.
Oh, that's under the tube.
Yeah. You want to go?
Ah, you can go. You can take your hand. My hands are fragile. I'm going backward.
Just like my ears.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Have you got this? Can I grab one of them?
Yep.
I reckon that's...
Yeah, looks good. I owe you some paint repair. Dog, go away. Go away. Come on. Cool.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's cool. That's plenty of a platform. Alright, so the pads are done.
Yep. Ready for a hoop?
Ready for a hoop. Oh man, I gotta stop doing that.
Go to Bunny, get some pitch weld. What's that got to do?
It's more just like I don't want to hit my head.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to weld all the way around it, but like...
Yeah, might be able to lever it out a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
A bit tighter.
But that's pretty good.
It's tight enough.
Yeah.
Happy with where it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good there, tack it.
Send it.
Cool. Alright. Ow. Alright. Ow. Do you? Oh no. Do that cross.
Do the... Yeah, cool. And I reckon, like, once we do that bit across, we'd be able to cut that out, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, it depends what you want to do with it.
Sure, why not?
If you plan on leaving it on jack stand from here, I think it's going to be fine, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. But, like I said, this is actually attached to the body yet. It's only attached to the floor.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, but once we do...
It is tight there.
Yeah, it's tight there, and if we do one across here...
Yeah, but it's not actually going to hold the car.
Ah, yeah, right.
Yeah. Once you've done these, though, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, okay.
You really want to get rid of that bar, don't you?
I do.
What, lower than that?
Yeah, 420.
Blaze it?
Blaze it, mate. Full send. This is sick.
Ow!
Oh no!
I got molested by your handbrake.
I thought you hit your head again.
No. It's the other end.
Oh no. I don't know which one I'd prefer.
It's a lovely handbrake.
Did it take you out to dinner first?
No, it didn't.
Oh no!
Little more. Little more. Too much. Take it back.
Sure you're happy?
The thing is, like, when I chuck it through the torsion test, it's either going to pass or it's going to fail. And then at the end, like, I have to do the torsion test before I do any of the body work, before it's painted.
Oh, so it doesn't really matter then, does it?
No, that's exactly right. Like, it's all about the same.
Why do you have to do it before the bodywork, or you just want to do it before?
No, he said that's the order you do it in. So then if you do need to add extra supports...
Right. Yeah. All makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. I said you didn't need to unload it, man.
Happy now?
Yeah.
Still happy? Get out.
Yep. Cool. Right, making real good progress. So we've got the first diagonal. Zane is just making up the next one. So that'll go back to the same plate as well. I've just finished making a couple of pads that are going to sit in here, and then we'll go from this join back to the pad. Same thing on the other side, and then I think it would probably be all right to remove the C-pillar. It's real clear in here. Heaps of room for activities. I just wish I could just like lop it off there and there, and then it would be like full ute spec. How'd we do, Zane?
We got there. That's all we can ask for.
I think we did. I think it's worked out pretty well. I mean, it's all going to be tied in. There's probably some gussets that I can put in, and when I know what's going on with the roof, I'll close that up. But how does it rank on frames you've done that don't really need to be engineered?
I mean, it's going to be strong. I think the biggest thing with this project is tying in the towers, because obviously you're going to lose all your C-pillar and stuff. So I think there's still a little bit of work to do, some more bars to go in, but this will definitely let us get the tub in.
Yeah, sweet. And I dare say once we finish doing those, triangulate in that corner, we could then cut out the C-pillars.
Yeah.
That's gonna be, I'm looking forward to that one. That one's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
But I think that'll do it for today. It's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, it's knock-off time.
Knock-off time.
It is.
You said it, mate. These bad boys need to go. Nice. It's got the shape of a ute now. Let's unpick some of this, both sides, and get rid of it. Yeah! Because that needs to go, and that needs to go. There you go. Ding ding! Alright, so I want to try and keep as much of this structure as I can, because we've still got to remove the quarter panel, and I don't want to kind of ruin the location of that before we take it off and then have to replace it with the M3 ones. But I dare say I can probably still cut around the outside, and then I'll unpick the spot welds for all of these smaller bits, so then that'll be all nice and clean. Is it a ute yet?
It's getting there.
It's getting there?
Yeah.
Nice. How cool is that? We're real close. I mean, insanely far away, but like real close. That's starting to look like a ute. Let me see if I can. I don't have a huge... Don't trail off there. Oh, I don't have a huge workshop. I was gonna say I don't have a huge workshop. Other things are huge, but my workshop isn't. I can't wait to get these rear quarters. All right, time to drink some water. That's right, everyone. We're picking up the tub. It's going back to the workshop. See if it fits. All right, we're tied down. Back to the workshop. It's a ute!
A great success!
How good is that? Perfect, it's a tipper. Awesome. We are very tight. So we're gonna need to cut across this seam on both sides just to snug it in. It's already long, I knew that was the case. I think if we cut out this piece of metal on both sides and down this seam, I want to basically cut up to where I need instead of just cutting a heap out and hoping that I don't cut it too small. But really close. That's pretty much where the window's going to go. It's just getting it to fit. That's so cool. We're gonna take it out, but I've marked everywhere I need to cut. Cut out here because the wheel arch in the E30 starts more forward than the wheel arch in the Jumbuck. Gonna remove this whole section and then cut along the inside. I think it's gonna be a montage now. Montage of cutting. All right, so these bits we're definitely gonna need to keep because I think we're gonna need to retrofit. There's a plate that goes on the back of here with a lug, and the tailgate sits in that lug. A latch goes up here, so then the tailgate latches onto that. Here, I'm gonna have to work that out, but we wanna probably retrofit part of this piece onto the E30 to then get the tailgate working. So So I'll put these on the shelf and keep these for later.
Montage.
I really hope this doesn't like just pop the whole thing out, but I've had to think about it. There's not much I can do without putting support from one side to the other, but then I can't get the tub in. So I think I prefer to be coming from the other direction though. Woo-wee. I am warm. Still kind of holding its shape, and having a little bit of extra movement is going to help the tub just kind of hopefully fall into place. This is ridiculous. Why am I doing this? I'm sorry, E30. I'm so sorry. All right, carry on. You've got two layers. So you've got this back layer and this front layer sandwiched together, and then on the outside of that sandwich, you've got this bit. I could technically unpick these stitches, but I think I'd be better off just leaving that as is and not touching that. I think that's it for this side. It does still have a little bit of strength, but when we drop the tub in, it'll be good to be able to move it in and out. This is gonna be a decent sized tub. This is so cool. That's the E30 ready. I'm making this all up as I go, obviously. But if I get a piece of cardboard that is from there to there, I can template the bottom around, and the same thing on that. Mark the center line, transfer the center line onto the tub, and then I know the exact clearance of both the strut towers. Then it's a matter of working out the arch, and this odd one, the arch, I'm also gonna need to move the breather. I don't know how I'm gonna do that also. I'll make that up as I go. It's looking like a ute. The more I work on it, the more I want to work on it. And it's like a really enjoyable experience. Centerline. How easy is that? So, looks pretty good on the rest of the car as well. So, I didn't even think I'm going to check that, because that's like centerline all the way down to the chassis where the dash sits. The next step is to work out. Well, no, let's just cut the template out, because we can determine where the template is sitting in relation to where the front bar and maybe the window or the roll cage and the window are going to be sitting, and then we can just go after that. So we need this to fit in here. Now, I think what I might do, how do we want to do this? So, hopefully that is about right. So, we've got a pretty good template. It's not the best, but it'll do. All right, we've got the first side. That's looking all pretty. We've got the center line looking pretty dang close. Now I've just got to pre-template onto this side. So we'll get the rough shape, transfer the rough shape, and then hopefully get it closer than some of these. You can always just go from here to here. This one is out, say 10. This one is out 5. And this one is out 0. And then you can adjust your angle when you transfer this onto the tub. The rest of it looks good though. Cool, all right, I'll just get this other side done and then we can transfer it to the tub and cut it out of the tub. Both sides done. Looking good, although the center line is slightly out. You can see there, but we can just adjust the center line on the cardboard so I don't have to make a whole new one. The way it's sitting, some of them have adjusted, so I've marked it on the cardboard to then fix, but it's all looking pretty good. I have since realized that these bars coming back to the wheel arch on both sides, I'm gonna have to cut out way more of this tub than I originally really wanted to. Tub comes to right here. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm really happy with how it's working so far. And the next part we're gonna cut out is this whole wheel arch. Okay. That's how you remove a wheel arch from a jumbuck. So I've measured how far the front is going to be in relationship to the bars. I've measured out where the cardboard should be in relationship to the bars. And then I need to change that. That's 240 at that point. And this should be 230. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, with all of the cuts that I've done so far, this is probably the only one I'm like quite nervous about, because I can't just go out and grab another tub off the shelf. Any mistake I make here basically means I either have to repair it thoroughly or get a new tub, which means getting a whole new jumbuck, which I also don't want to do that. So we're definitely going to be cutting into these vents, but I also think we're going to need to cut out kind of like a triangle worth and then replate it so it covers those bars. Pray for mojo.
Welcome back to VoiceOver, Lewis. Had a bit of a technical difficulty on the next couple of videos, so I'll just do a quick montage of all of the trials and tribulations of getting this tub to fit, and then end with a little bit more of live action, Lewis.
We're so close. The tub is nearly in.
where?
The E30. Had a bit of an issue. I've still got to just clear the wheel arch. I think that's all that's stopping it. On both sides, I've had to cut a lot back over here. We've probably got to go down another 50 mil, and then it's kind of seated. And then the tub's in. I think with the wheel arches, as far as the look of it goes, I'm gonna do a wheel arch that comes up, covers, it'll go back here, but it'll just go straight into the rear wall, just make it look a little nicer. The E30 wheel arches are so much different to each other. They're not gonna be the same. I would prefer to make one as big as it needs to cover the other side, because that's where the fuel fillet comes in, and then just match the other side, make them look the same. I'm tired, boss.
They should look thinner on camera.
I know, I'm looking forward to editing myself for the sole fact of I'm not gonna be sitting there going, I really need to lose some weight, man.
I just had a big bowl of pasta.
I haven't eaten anything today. All right, so there was a lot of back and forth trying to make it fit, but it now fits. There is an issue with the width of the tub. As you can see, it is bulging up on both sides, so I'll just have to cut down and cut and shut it kind of thing. But the tub's in, it fits, and like it fits insanely well. I'll just show you some of the spots. You can see that the tub is sitting on the back there. The tub is in line and it fits really well. There is going to have to be a patch panel made up to go from the tub to the chassis, or to the E30, and you can see in the process of installing the tub that it's pushed it out a little bit, and it's done that on both sides, so it wasn't just bad in one spot, but it's in. We have an E30 with a tub, and it's so cool. Someone saw one of my posts and said, look, I think you're gonna need these bits. This box right here, I thought what was in this box was gonna hold up the project, and I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna find them. They basically don't exist. You can't order these. So I was extremely happy when this bloke came forward and said, I think you're gonna need these. Do you wanna buy them? There's a fair bit of money in these 3 boxes, but I still think we both got a very good deal, and I'm so happy and so very appreciative. I just want to open this one. I gotta say, Pack and Send did a terrific job of packing and sending these. Genuine E30 M3 with the clips. Oh, yes. I didn't think I'd find these. I thought these were the bits that were going to hold me up and hold me up indefinitely. They need some work. Looks like they've had a bit of damage, but I mean, it's still in good condition. One of the clips is broken, but this is sick. Sweet. Yes! How good is that? So, this is a genuine E30 M3 Evo front bar. Good does that look? Oh my God.
Really, the only word for it is...
So fucking cool. Genuine E30 M3 rear bumper. How good does that look? Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, it's in. I have one panel. I don't have the right one yet. The big question is, Evo 3 isn't as aggressive on the lip as this aftermarket one. I would need to get the M3 crash bar and then the M3 lip. I don't know which way I want to go. The guy was really nice. He left all of the ducting in there for me, so I don't have to use the fog lights. I'm not making a genuine car. I'm putting many genuine bits in there, but it's not a genuine car, so I'm not overly concerned. But I just don't know if I like it over the more aggressive front lip of the aftermarket one. So what I'll do is I'll put all of these fenders on. We'll get the side skirts, I'll offer them up because they make a huge difference to the car as far as how much it comes out and flares out from the car. So I'll show them. I'll get both the front bumpers on and see what everyone thinks. So, non-genuine, obviously this is going to bring its own issues. Mounting is going to be a little bit more difficult, but it fits really nicely and I don't need to replace the crash bar. And then the third point is I would need to get the other genuine one repaired. So it's all extra cost when I have this. It fits. I have the lights, the fog lights for it. I think one of the benefits of the genuine one is going to be the fact that there is the brake ducting that I can make functional. So what we'll do is we'll swap this one over for the genuine one so you can get a look at that one and then you can tell me what you think. So I almost feel like this doesn't fit as well as the non-genuine. But that's probably more so because the crash bar is wrong. It's hard to tell also because it's black. But that front lip just isn't as aggressive And I know I'd still have to get the splitter, but I don't know. All right, well, let's go on to the side skirts because they're gonna make a big difference and I know I wanna use them. So, side skirts. Now, the wheel is huge. When you lower the E30s, the camber will sink in, and I'll put the camber adjusting plates on. The biggest thing these side skirts are gonna do is right here. Now, if the side skirt's coming out that much, the panel is gonna come out heaps. So we should even be close to covering it, and then by the time we fix the camber, because the wheel is tilted out just ever so slightly, we camber it in, and the extra clearance from the added flare of the guard, we're good. This doesn't have a spacer on it, neither does the front, and they fit almost perfectly. Almost like they were made for me to do something ridiculous like this, which is awesome. Once I work out what I want to do with the front bumper, get the rear right panel, we're pretty good. I have contacted a local panel beater who's going to come and have a look at the car and help me make the panel, the transition panel from the B pillar to the tub. So if I cut down in, so I still keep this inner radius, it can then transition using this line across. We're getting there. All right, next job, steering. The whole E46 setup, I want to have buttons in the steering wheel, and I really like the M Sport steering wheel. I've got cruise control, multimedia function, and I want them all to work in this one. No gap, this is the M Sport. You might think, why do I have two steering columns? Well, there's a difference between the automatic and the manual. There is a pin that once you put the key in and turn, the automatic locks it in. So I had to go out and find a manual one. I also had trouble because I bought this one not being fully aware of the mechanics and functions of it. The first one that I bought doesn't have the tilt function all attached to it, and that gets mounted to the chassis. This is the airbag that was deployed in the automatic steering column that I bought. I've cut the bag out. You can remove the explosive from the rear. It's just these 4 bolts. Be very careful. It's an explosive. We've got a purple tag. We've got E46 inner tie rods, and then you can use E30 or E36 outer tie rods. The E36 ones are bulkier and more durable, so recommend getting the E36 outer tie rods. Let's get the rims off and start doing, I would say, the steering rack first. Whoops! Well, once again, I've made an error. I deleted the footage of removing the original E30 steering rack and installing the E46 purple tag. But it was pretty easy. You've got to have little spaces just under here because the purple tag is thinner. So we'll carry on, but the purple tag is in. All right, so on a normal E30, these 2 bolts either side are security bolts. So you're gonna need to cut into them with an angle grinder or a hacksaw, depending on how slow you wanna do things. But then once you've got those flats on them, you can undo them. There's 2. It looks like the clamp down the bottom, I'd already loosened it off when I was taking it out before. That clamp is going to be removed completely. We're going to need to widen the hole in the chassis because with the E46, it has 2 mounting spots in the same spot here and then another one out the back, and then it's a rubber grommet around the firewall. So then when you're changing the movement, it's got movement in the firewall instead of having it all fixed mounted. I'll take that bracket off and offer up the E46 one and see how we go. This is the original E30 column with original wheel. This is the bracket that's holding it up. this is the replacement. 40mm, 3mm thick. The holes are the same width apart, and these inside holes are just a little bit further out. Very simple, made it off camera.
Okay.
Okay, I think it's going to be easiest. Don't do that too tight. Don't want to be able to adjust that. I think I really need. There's the steering wheel mounted. Now, with that mounted, I need to work out how to get a plate back to here. I think I'll get that central in the back and forward movement and the up and down movement. Make a plate, mount those two, so then the whole column is hard mounted, and then we need to cut a hole in the firewall to allow for the movement. Before I do all of that, I think what I really want to do is put the steering wheel on to see where the position. That feels, oh no! Yeah, there we go. It's falling apart. Okay. It's hard to know without the dash in and then the cluster where it's supposed to be. And when we cut the firewall out, we can really kind of move it wherever we want. We can cut it out at the bottom of the hole or at the top of the hole. Just feeling where it should, like where it feels naturally in the right spot, I think it needs to go up a little more. So when we cut the firewall out, we'll cut it down lower than higher. But I mean, that's a E46 steering wheel mounted in an E30. Relatively easy, really. Let's work out the second mounting point, and then it'll be fixed in. All right, we know where this goes. This now gives us a spot where we can have a bar come up either side, and then that can bolt into that tunnel that holds this on. So we'll get this on, then do some cardboard aided design for these little tabs. They should be mirrored, so we only need to do one, cut them out, weld them to this plate, then this plate is removable from the chassis and from the steering column. God damn it, I need to put that bolt in. That is as back as far as it needs to be. I have jammed a bit of cardboard in there to keep it tilted. So we're gonna need to just do a slight angle on that one. I'll just go do quick folds on those, or angles, and then I'll come back. I'll hold it up, tack them in position. That's the bracket bolted on. We'll put it in, drill both sides through both sheets at the same time so we don't have to work it out. And then that's bolted in. All right, it's in. Because we've used the manual column, you can put the key in and out. We've got the custom bracket, front and back. We have full movement. I still need to cut out the firewall, but that is in the right spot for the seal to sit over. E46 steering wheel in an E30. Look. I just want to do a quick explanation on the steering linkage because it is a pretty important part of this swap. This is the original E30 linkage. The length is very important, and the splines on the end of each linkage are also as important. These are the two factory linkages, E30, E46. Now this one, the E46 one, would be even longer if it still had the unis on it, and that length is vital. I purchased this one thinking as long as the splines were the same that we'd be good. Luckily I can use this one on my E46 and tighten up the steering. So it's not a complete waste, but it is a shame. This is the linkage that I'll be using on the car. This is a BMW Center. I'm not sure what the standard is in other countries. I don't know if you have Holden Barinas with E46 ends that I have cut off this. So here is the rubber seal that goes in between the firewall. Sits on like that, and then this plate bolts in from the other side. So when you adjust it, it's not messing the firewall, it's just moving up and down on the rubber. For now, I don't really want to cut the firewall. I want to make sure that the steering wheel is in the right position for the dash and the cluster, and then everything else is all right. This can go on much later without me having to do it right now and possibly get it wrong. You've got a 17mm socket and spanner to remove the, ow, my hand, the power steering rack. So to get the linkage in, if you can undo one of the bolts on the steering column, steering rack, I should say. Okay. Alrighty. Ow, my shin! My precious antique shin.
My shins. My precious antique shins. Oh, look at what you've done to them.
One of my mates has recently done this swap and the dimensions are a little bit off. I've used the existing mounting points here. The way he's had to do it is drill these bolts out up as high as he can to make sure that the angles are right to be able to see your speedo and whatnot. I need more information before I do it, and then I can just finish that off later. All right, so let's see. Oh.
And, we got a bleeder!
Okay, so I think that's full lock. We've lost some power steering fluid. And how are we looking? We've got heaps of clearance on the inside of this arch. The question is on the back of this side. We've got heaps of clearance. I feel like there's something not right with the setup, but without driving, it's really hard to tell. Does that wheel look like it's not turning that far? Anyway, back the other way. Yeah, sick. All right, so that is full E46 steering setup in an E30. Just need to hook up all of the wiring. And we're not doing that bad boy though. There is a lot of flex in the steering actually. So, get a close-up of this. As I turn, maybe from this side. There is a lot of flex in it, so we may need to get that a little bit more rigid. Yeah, she's scuffed up real bad, but all right.
Ow, my freaking ears!
Nice. Today's job, coilovers, and I have to give a big shout out to Titan Suspension. Navin, you were an amazing help. I had one other friend kind of guiding me, but Navin was a huge help on spring heights, spring weights, spring diameters. These are the first ones I've bought. I've never owned a car with coilovers, and this was a terrific transaction. I did pay for these. This isn't sponsored. I will 100% use them for all of my future projects. If you are about to do a project, check them out. They were lovely. Let's run through a quick list of what we got in here. We have independent spring to rears, This is one of the requests that my engineer said do not get them attached because of the trailing arms set up in the E30. They have to be independent. We have the strut top mounts. They do come with the damper adjusting tool and they can damper adjust on the top. Then we have the fronts, and these things, oh, they look terrific. One of my requests to Navin was that I needed all blacked out. The only part that they normally have that isn't blacked out are the locking rings, but they went above and beyond to make sure that the locking rings were all black. They're E36 front suspension and then a E30 camber adjustment plate on the top. They should just bolt in. And I think on that note, we just rip the old stuff out and get these bad boys in. Ow, ow, my head. Count is going to get too big too quickly. All of the stuff that we did before, undoing. Take the steering rack off. Steering rack. Crap, I forgot about bloody the control arm. So I guess this is a good way to see that the F80 calipers just bolt straight up to the E36 knuckle. And if you machine the bore, the rotor just goes straight on as well. All right, the old ones. AP, never heard of them, but I don't know anything about coilovers. I will get a rough length of this one, set the new one up in the same, or maybe, probably should have measured it before I took the wheel off. Let's go 50 mil shorter than this and then chuck it in. I'll get a rough length, 600-ish. If I'm doing this wrong, let me know in the comments because, again, I got no idea. We want to add, that's about 530, so about 70 mil. Oh, I'm adding 70 mil, but I wanted to take 50 mil off. So basically where it was before is kind of where I wanted it. I'm not going to do it real tight because I have no idea about the actual height. We got coilovers.
Nice.
Gentle. Oh God. It's so difficult to hold on to. I remember struggling with the last one. That's how we do it. This is how we do it. We disassemble the item so it's not so heavy. This is how we do it. There's some of the weight gone. And then if I work smarter, not harder. Don't ever work hard.
I don't know if we should be portraying that message.
Okay, much easier to handle. Holy cow, straight in. Look at what happens when you do things the easy way. Where did I just put that long bolt? Where did the, oh, you've got it in your hand. Yep, thank you. Success.
Could you not get a bigger jack?
It's a truck. I need a truck jack. You want to press it, just that pedal?
This one or that one?
That one. That one.
That one.
Yeah, just 1 second.
And what will that actually do?
Pump it up here.
Oh, okay.
Don't you know, pump it up.
When you're ready.
You got to pump it up.
Is that go?
Don't you know, pump it up. Let me get my light. Another little head doink for the tally. We know I've hit my head too many times when I lose count of how many times I've hit my head. Can't fit my head in there. Gotta go from under. Let's give it the old reach around. 17? 16? 16. I was a fitter and turner for like 10 years.
So doesn't that mean that you can touch a bolt and know the exact millimeter?
Yeah, when I was a fitter and turner. I reckon I've slammed that a little too much.
I'd say it's pretty much perfect.
Again, I've never messed around with a camber plate, so watch me make mistakes so you don't have to. There we go. Ooh, I should have undone it. I scratched it. No! Crap. So that's fixed it a little bit, but that's too low.
You think?
Look at the wheel center as well. Like, look at the gap here. The gap here. Did I get the height right? I'm gonna guess no, but you'll see it before I do. Oh my God, that's so much lower. That looks pretty sick on camera. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it is tilted. It's kind of mean. It's kind of mean. I'm gonna need to replace the SRS concept adapters because they're just not bringing the wheel forward enough, and there's not enough clearance at the back compared to the front. But I mean, that's sick. Now we just need to comical. Comical. All right, let's do the rears because that's gonna make a huge difference.
Wait, is your mic thing on? It's not picking it up.
Isn't it?
No.
Should be. It's connected.
Oh.
Oh.
Fuck, it needed to be pushed in.
Oh, Chris.
At least I picked up that we were
Only I make audio mistakes, not you. I can't remember how I got these springs in and out. So I had to use the notorious spring compressors. I hate using them though, for obvious reasons. I will get new spring pads, but I don't need to right now. These should be a little bit easier to get in. Like, much easier to get back in. Oh my God. How high do I make this? I've got no idea. Well, okay, actually, that's as low as it goes. So let's just go with that. There will be significant reinforcement that needs to be done on them, and very specifically this one because I have cut so much of the wheel arch out, but we'll cross that bridge when we really need to get to it. I reckon we get the jack. Don't you know, pump it up.
When you're ready.
You got to pump it up.
Is that go?
Don't you know, pump it up. Okay. So, I remember this being an absolute nightmare. I don't have the retaining screw. I remember it being, what's the old saying? Difficult, difficult, lemon, difficult? Difficult, difficult, lemon, difficult. It's like easy peasy lemon squeezy, but look at that.
Just because you're so fit.
Like a glove.
Like a glove.
First time, every time. That still doesn't look like it's dropped low enough. But we'll see. There's, like, it's not a fist. Moment of truth. Definitely looks lower. But there's still a huge gap. That's way lower. Yeah, it needs to go down. The wheel is in a good position as far as the wheel arch goes. I definitely need to put camber plates on the rear subframe so I can camber the wheel in to get it inside the arch. I think we were 40 before. We're 25, so whew, I think the rears are going to be pretty good. They've definitely come in significantly. They look good. They need to go down a little bit more, but I'll work that out later. All right, so we had the weekend to think. I discussed the rear ride height with Navin again, and he's given me a couple of options to be able to adjust it still. We can remove one of the spring pads in the rear. That'll give us a little bit, and then there's a locking ring on the spring height adjuster that we can remove that'll give us a little bit more. And then I reckon that's probably going to be all right, given that as soon as we put weight on it, it will be pretty close. If we need to adjust it more, then that's future Lewis's problem. I'll adjust the front ride height so they're at least equal, because they're slightly out. Can't even get a finger in there, which is definitely too low. Can get my fingers in, it's probably still a little low. So I'll adjust both of those, adjust the rear, get the car level, and then call that a day. It's looking good though. It's looking real good. It's rubbing the guards pretty bad. All right, that's the coilovers done, and I've had to load a lot of weight into the rear of it just to get it sunk down a little bit more. When I come to mounting the bed into the tub, I will be adding a bit of weight. I don't know how much weight, probably 80 to 100 kilos. And I think I'd have about 80 to 100 kilos in there right now. I do have the rear quarter panels coming. I have a set. They're secondhand. I should have the brand new one here soon, hopefully, and I'll decide which set I want to use. When the set does come in, it should clear the wheel. On the fronts, I've put as much camber on there as I can, and it hasn't corrected the issue. So we are going to have to roll the guards. I'm not going to do that myself. I don't trust myself. Oh, that delivery truck. That's a good looking delivery truck. God damn it. I was too excited. I didn't turn the microphone on. So let's do a quick walk around with sound on. What did we get? E30 M3 rear quarters. They are heavily damaged, but I have them. I have both of them. Definitely going to need to do some repairs on them. Both the tail lights are rusted out. You can see why they've just gone with they've just bought whole new panels for everything. So this is the same subscriber that sent me the genuine bumper, genuine rear bumper, the side skirts. They got their new panels. I'm still waiting for one. There is quite a bit of damage on them, and there are still more parts to come from this same person, but we've got them. These are rough, but we have Eden to make them less rough. Yeah?
Yeah, we'll try his best anyway.
Yeah, we'll run you through what we've got and what we're going to need to do to make them work. Eden?
Okay.
You're going to make a whole new panel down here, aren't you?
Basically, unstitch it, and I reckon just have the outer skin basically for the quarter panel. Then we're going to actually fabricate something up the top here so it looks more similar to the regular E30 top bits. It's just flat like this bit, and it's going to go the whole way along. In the M3, it comes up high for the boot and then the C-pillar. This is going to get cut out and will come back down to the original E30 line. Yeah, yeah. And we'll be able to weld that because we can get underneath to planish it after and do all that sort of stuff. Yeah, basically everything's going to have to come off, which isn't the end of the world because we get the added benefit of being able to clean the backside of the panel. Yeah, we can even paint it. And completely prep it. Yeah. Which is really good. So, as you can see, there is rust in them, and there is quite a bit of rust. So we are going to need to use parts off the other panel that we've got attached to the E30 just to make it work. But then there are parts... Just have to fabricate out of steel or something like that. yeah, like this bit here, we'll probably just fabricate something out of steel, weld it and planish it up and dress it around and stuff. I think this bit's down, this one's not too bad, but the other one down there, we'll have to see what we can use from the other quarters.
I think that might be different, but we might need to just reuse some of the steel.
That's a pretty easy shape anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the dents. There is going to need to be a fair bit of body work done on it. It's hard to pick up, but they're like just small dents everywhere. This one has a rather large hit in the back that we'll need to knock out. Yeah, there's a lot of work here. We've got them both on panel stands, so we can see underneath a little bit better. And as you can see, there is quite a huge amount of rust. We will remove the inner and outer wheel arch, but I think if we can just get a bunch of steel off in each process and then get them back to exactly what we need, we can go from there. So to start off with, we've just got to unpick all of these spot welds, keeping the panel in as good a condition as possible.
And then
this is going to be
fun.
But it will be an M3 at the end of it. It's not as rusty as I thought it would be. There are some obviously parts that are completely gone. Eden's been hacking away at his.
Wow, surgically removing.
Surgically you're removing?
Yeah, something like that.
Looks a bit hacky to me, mate.
That's why they call me the butcher.
The butcher. Because we might need to use part of the wheel arch Eden's working on, he's had to do it a little bit more surgical. Let's go with surgical, all right? Makes him feel good. Mine, we don't need any of this wheel arch because we're changing the fuel filler neck and we don't need any of this extended wheel arch. So I can just basically cut the panel off of the arch. Cut the arch off of the panel. Yeah, cut the arch off of the panel. So we don't cut the panel. Yeah, we just cut inside the wheel arch, not damaging the panel, and then remove what we need to from there. So that's the next step. We're starting to get to where we need to. You can see all the damage on this side that's going to need to be gotten rid of. Jacking point, completely gone. This needs to go like back there, and like all of that needs to be replaced. But I mean, E30 M3 panel is more than what I've got for the brand new panel. Just have to make it work. This was hours of work, and I've still done damage to both pieces. We couldn't just leave it on there because of how much rust and damage there is to all of the other panels. It had to come off, and we have to be able to treat behind everything and then refix everything. Otherwise, it could just fall apart. We're now at about 2 days worth of work, and we finally just have the panel, only the panel. Eden's been working at the same time I've been doing this one, and he's further than I am. He's already stripped it, sanded it, and it's looking pretty good. But now we're going to score up the paint just so the paint stripper can get inside, and then we start paint stripping. So I'll put a mask on, start scoring, start lathering. Nice. Wasn't recording that in fucking time.
Bugger.
Some idiot didn't press record. It was me. You can hear it bubbling. Oh. This is where we've gotten to after the first strip. There are some spots where there was some bog or multiple layers of paint, or we just didn't put the stripper in a little bit thick enough. So I'll put another coat on this, wrap it in plastic, let it sit for a couple of, maybe an hour, and then come back, clean up the rest of it, and then I can sand it and give it a good old wipe down, and then I'm gonna coat it in deoxidine so it doesn't rust again straight away. Then the real fun begins. Panel beading, patch panels. You can really see how messed up this body kit bracket is. Got to work that out. Patch panel. Here's the jacking point. We're going to need to replace that. This is all just chewed out, and it's hard to see, but this is just full of dents. So there's a lot of work ahead, but we now have just the panel ready to go. We're finally back to a bare metal panel. I'm going to give it a wipe down with some brake cleaner, then start hitting it with some 80 grit just to take the top off, then deoxidine. You've got to do each step properly before you can move on to the next. And the only reason I know what I'm doing is because I watched Eden do it yesterday. Thanks, Eden. These f***ing chains. Much better. Panels are prepped. They're about as good as they're going to get. Now I've got the left side panel brand new in a box, so we can use that as a template to then repair the parts on this panel. I'm not going to cut up the brand new panel.
Wrong again, Flanders.
Where we need to repair, and I can use it as a guide. So the panel is going to stay complete. I'm going to start on this panel on the passenger side of my car, right-hand drive car. But we're going to need to turn the car around, so I'm not working in this little gap. I've got a little bit more space, and we'll push the car over that way. Get a good look now, because this thing isn't going to look like much of a car very shortly. So we've got a brand new E30 M3 panel. We've got these two second-hand ones, and they are just too far gone. I've had a look at them. They could be repaired. I don't have the skills to repair these, and I don't have the time to repair them either. I want this car to look more like a ute very, very quickly. So I've pulled the tub out. You can see how much of the car is gone. There's nothing left. I can use the second-hand ones to template, so to make sure that I don't ruin this brand new panel. God, that thing looks sexy. When you look at it like this, you really can see how far it's gotten. Rear seat removed, parcel shelf removed, spare wheel well removed, cut out that rear wheel arch, installed the half roll cage, kind of more of a support cage, put the reinforcements down for the M4 seats, E46 steering wheel and column. When you look at it like this, you really can see how much has already happened to it. We are not even close to being finished. From here, we are still waiting for this panel to rock up, but I'm just going to start ripping this thing apart and hope that it comes in time. Which means we'll then be able to get the tub back in, fit it off with the custom flares, custom wheel arches I've made up. This is the leftover pile of steel from the second-hand ones, and I think a lot of that's probably just going to go in the bin. So the first thing I'm going to do is jack stand this up, get it as level as I can on the ground. The floor isn't great, but I don't want to have any twist in the chassis when I remove these panels, because That's got to come off, and I'm going to have to cut that up so I can get the tailgate mechanism working. So the plan is jack it up, get it up on jack stands, level it, rear wheels off, doors off, because the panels that I've got come into this seam here. So I'm going to unpick all of these, take this off, unpick here, all underneath, all in the wheel arch. There's another seam just under here that's going to need to be taken off. And then the rear panel is going to get cut down and then flat on the inside, so I can start working out where the tailgate is going to go and how it's going to function. This door will not be going back on. That one is, she's gone. But I've got a spare door. Then I need to paint strip the doors, fill up the holes for that little bit of trim, because I can't afford the $4,000 it's going to cost to get the M3 doors. So I am going to modify these to make these doors work. And it really is pretty simple. I have to fill up these holes, and then it is just this bit here needs to be filled. This line is kept and this line is kept. So these are going to get modified into an M3 door. Pretty good. And then the front is even better. So we're level enough, and this is just so when I'm cutting these rear panels off, because I'm going to lose a lot of rigidity, a lot of stiffness, I don't want it to start twisting. Hi, me. Doors off. Sweet. Doors off. Wheel off. Cool. If only it was that easy, eh? If only it was that easy. Let's see if it works. Ute. Nah, luck's run out. All right, have to do it the normal way. Start unpicking all of these stitches and cutting this panel off. Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy this. There's some rust back there. Good thing the whole thing is going in the bin. So I've pulled all of the little bits off. Trim, door sill, door latch. I'm now at the point where I think I Y-wheel the arch, work out where the spot welds are. I've got a couple of things. I've got a bracket under here that I need to remove, but we're at the point where I start marking out all of the spot welds and just start taking them off. The new panel has a full B pillar. I'm only going to remove it up to where the second hand panel is, just to keep that little bit of extra strength. Once it gets to the point where I'm putting the brand new panel on, the rest of the B pillar will be removed. But for mocking up purposes, I'm just going to have clearance for the second hand panel. I'm a little nervous. Well, let's just get into it. This project is kind of all I think about, whether or not it's at home or here. So I have thought about the removal of this panel a lot. And now that I'm about to do it, I am still kind of nervous. I mean, this shell is worthless at this point. Until I finish this car is a write-off. So it's not like I'm ruining a perfectly good shell. I've already done that. I did that when I cut the back seats out, the C-pillar. I don't know, I'm just nervous. I hope this goes well. Well, let's do it. Probably don't need to see me drill out maybe 40, 50 spot welds. You can skip that. I'll do that for us. Thanks. That all went extremely well. Split the seam really nicely. Now I've got to work out, so this is all brazed together. It might be hard to tell, but there is just a little bit of gold in there. So that's brazed together. I'll have to heat that up to separate that. We're loose, baby. I've separated it all along there. In the wheel arch, that's all loose. In the back, that's been loosened off. The only things I've got left are across here, and then this is all just brazed. The tailgate, I think if I remove this bracket, then cut flat along there to the braze, then I should be able to loosen the back half of the panel. It's a shame that this has rusted away because I am going to need to use this. Probably should have removed the seam sealer, eh? You don't have smoke alarms out here that are going to get set off, do you?
And if we do, it'll be all your fault.
It will be, yes. Good. That's good to know. Seam sealer's gone. Just burn it out, eh? I don't know if I'm going to get this hot enough for the braze to come out, to be honest. I might need to just cut down on the panel side. Yeah, I think what I'm going to need to do is just cut down on the panel side to my other cut, because I don't think I'm going to get the braze hot enough for me to be able to separate it. At least I got rid of the seam sealer on the other side, so that won't be an issue anymore. So I just went a little bit wider on the bottom because the tailgate panel, or the panel that's going to turn into the tailgate, had a little tab on the inside, and I thought I may as well keep as much of that as I can. So that is now free. I do need to cut all the way down to free the rear quarter. We're going to have a bunch of seam sealer in the wheel arch, which is, maybe I just burn it out. Nice. There's not much left of this bad boy now. Still got to remove the other panel, but I'll do that one off camera. It was just the seam sealer holding on. There is a huge amount of seam sealer, and as soon as I heated it up, it just wanted to let go. The panel is off, and it doesn't look like much of a car anymore. There's really not much left of her right now. I mean, it's a rolling shell. It would roll. I'd need to put the rear wheels back on. But it all went pretty well to plan. The other side came off pretty easily. But there's nothing left. I think for now, let's get the M3 panels and chuck them on and see what it looks like. Oh, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be sick. All right, let's put them on. Probably should have left that wheel off. Yes. Oh my God, that looks so cool. So we've got about 10 mil poke still on the tire, but it's hard to tell what it will do when it sits down. It should go up and camber in a little bit more. Okay, let's put the other side on. Because the other side is rusted out in this corner, it doesn't want to sit as well. But it fits. Oh, M3 Ute. This is gonna be sick. All right, let me give you a walk around. Those lines just make it so much cooler. Just that little bit of wide body. Oh, all right, so you can see the wheels, the tires, there's just this tiny amount of poke still. But because we're doing whatever we want, what we can do is, so I've just made this gap a little bit bigger, and I've still got to work out the tailgate so we can make it as big as we want, and we're clear. How cool is that? It's an M3 Ute. God damn, that thing looks sick. Today we're doing tailgate stuff. I got to work out how to get the rear panel to hinge down. So in the last video, I did a cut behind this bumper thinking that I could have the tailgate lower. I can't because of the bumper. I also said that I can push this out to cover the tires, which is then going to make it really difficult to get this bumper on. So maybe I try and contort my panel so it's a wider gap at the top, but at the lower half of it, it's still basically factory, because there isn't a lot in this bumper that I can shave out, but there is a little bit. I've got a cut across here that I'm going to need to patch up before I do any more cutting. Then go to the jumbuck and look at how that tailgate mechanism's working, the hinge point and the locking mechanism, and then get that to work on this car. I think the first step is to cut along this corner, which is, oh no, my bumper, which is right here. And then maybe the pivot point is up higher, so when it pivots flat onto the bumper, which the clamp just let go. I think there's a lot of measuring, a lot of thinking, a lot of working out to be done. Once I've done that, I'll come back with the solution and how I'm going to get it all to work. Here we have the tailgate in the jumbuck, and I think I'm going to use most of this mechanism because it's really simple. So we've got these lugs that are removable on both sides. So you can undo that, push that lug back to take the tailgate on and off. Now this bar, it's the same at either end of the tailgate. That bar goes all the way through as reinforcing, so I don't want to mess with that. With that being said, if I can use this point in the tailgate of the jumbuck and then bring the pivot point where those lugs are in to meet it, then we can have the pivot point hidden behind this part of the tailgate, and then it won't impinge when I install the rear quarters. So I think that's kind of the plan. I need to pull that silver one off because this white one's in better condition. Take the silver one apart and work out where and how I'm going to install those lugs that can be removed. I've gotten the tailgate cover off to have a look inside. So I'm just trying to work out all of the things that are going to cause me a nightmare or a headache in the end. We've got the latches off of the chassis. They can move in and out, and if we have to, we can make a box that sits in here that then pulls this out. We've got the pivot points here, the blocks. We've got a fixed measurement from pivot point to pivot point on the tailgate, and I don't want to adjust this because this is a reinforcing bar. So I've got to get the blocks, get them into the correct spot, and then that will work. That's easy. I'm almost considering trying to get this tailgate, before I do anything else to it, functional in the E30 so it pivots up and down. And then I can cut across to the correct thickness and then reskin the E30 panel onto this. The next thing that I have to consider is the mechanism to open the tailgate. You've got the button here which pops the boot for the E30, and if we can get that functional as the handle, then that would be ideal. So this little bit that pivots in and out, that is pivoting this arm just here. So we need to get the button on press to pivot this bar right there, which shouldn't be too difficult, but there will definitely be some mechanism adjusting. The last part is the height. So from this angle where we're going to cut to the top is about 340, and if you go over to the jumbuck, the overall height is about 470, and the latching mechanism is at 360. So the latching mechanism needs to be moved down just to be able to fit in. And ideally, we get that mechanism so far down that it then lines up with this button. This is going to take a bit. I think the first step is to fix that little cut down the bottom. Horrible. That's pretty ugly. Luckily, no one will ever see it, except me and you, of course. Now that we've got that repaired, we need to work out where to cut. And you can see coming up, we want to cut just above this radius, which is about, let's say there. I'll mark that all the way along, get some masking tape, and then just cut that all the way across. I will have to cut one more piece after I do that. This panel right here. Tailgate panel. Ta-da! Okay, this is the panel we've just cut off. All we need to do is be able to pivot that flat. Simple enough. The plan is, if I can get this tailgate sitting here and then pivoting, then I can strip this one back and put the E30 skin over the top. Let's do that. How ridiculous does that look? Nutty, but not quite acceptable. The issue I'm having is I have to add this 90mm tubing in to then bring the tailgate above the bumper bar line, but let me just unlock it. When it's folded down, it still adds extra thickness. And as far as I'm concerned, a ute should have flat bed into a flat tailgate. I went out to U-Pull-It and bought a Ford Transit door thinking that this hinge might be the savior, and instead of having the tailgate open down, it would open around. Alrighty, change of plans again, and I just want to run you through what's happened and what's gone on in my brain. Now, I was going to have the swing out door. It's less convenient, not that this is going to be a convenient car at all, and it's not, to me it doesn't feel like a ute. It's got to have a tailgate, and the parameters that I'm kind of working on are two main ones. You have to be able to sit on the tailgate, so it's got to be able to take the weight of 2 people and maybe 2 drinks. Little cup holders in the tailgate, so you can have a little sit down on there, a little tailgate picnic. And the tailgate needs to be the same level as the bed. So the tailgate can't be up higher than what the bed's going to be. I can't have the bed any lower because this is where the body kit sits, and I don't really want to have it up too much higher, as it will look wonky. It won't look right if the bed's only, say, 1 to 200 mil deep. So I want to use this as the height. It then comes into question how the tailgate pivots, and I'm going to run through a couple of different prototypes and how my brain came to the conclusion that I have. I cut out a template the size of the bumper, so I know how far I need to clear. This is just rough, but it's pretty close. I've made a little template here. The slot is the pivot point, and this little bracket would get mounted to the chassis. So we can slide a rivet just to show. This edge would be the face of the tailgate. To get that to work, we need to move the bracket back so we're in line, and we want it to somehow come up and pivot past the bumper. Now, this one kind of got me thinking, yeah, this will work, but I need to get the arc right, and I need to get the cutout correct. And this one wasn't big enough. I made it a little bit bigger just to see what was going on, see if I could work it out a little bit more, and each prototype just got a little bit closer to the final product. A lot of these templates got cut up to make the next template. Show you probably 4, but there was probably 8 to 10. So this one comes up and then pivots down. Now, we want the face to be lower than the tailgate, so then the thickness of the tailgate is still flat with the floor of the bed. This one is still on an angle, didn't have quite enough movement, so I thought, you know what, let's try again. Started to work out that I need to indicate the bottom of the tailgate to work out how much clearance I needed, because I need this to sit flat on the bottom, and I need it to come up and out. As you can see, there's not enough clearance there to either get it flat or to get it past the bumper. I then tried to modify the height of the bracket that was mounted to the chassis to see if there was any difference. If you have the pivot point up higher, how does that change the interaction of the bracket? And you can get it flatter sooner, so it's then parallel or running in line with the bed. I then sat around for a little while and did just scrolling, tried to clear my brain, and thought, you know what, I'm probably going about this wrong. I'm trying to design something when I don't completely understand it. I went back to the original template, clamped it, put my pencil through the pivot point, and then just dragged a piece of cardboard up where I needed it to go and where I needed it to end. And I came up with this. We've got the tailgate nice and flush down the bottom. This is the face. It can come up, pivot, and sit parallel to the bed. There will be another pivot point over here that will bend like in a normal kind of tailgate. I'll see if I can get a picture of that. Sweet. That will then hold it and give it some kind of rigidity. And after I drew this, I kind of started to understand what it is I was trying to get to. This is only the prototype because I don't know how thick the tailgate is actually going to be. But if I make the tailgate thinner, this line would come down, and then I just do 2 quarter radius up, meet in the middle, quarter radius down. So this was the prototype that kind of got me to the point where I thought, yep, okay, we can just have a normal tailgate, still have the strength to sit on, have a drink, eat a sandwich, still have it level with the bed, and keep this as the bed height. Now that I've got all of this sorted, I think my next step is to build this frame that's going to go inside the tub, because then I don't need to clamp things down. The weight of this, I can then sort out the tailgate so it will be a functional tailgate. Bit of a word dump. Let's now make the internal frame for the bed, and then we can sort out the tailgate. Sick. This is cool. Nice. And there is the foundation for the bed. I think with the foundation now set, I can start working on the S-hinge, or as I am going to coin it, the shinge. Sounds terrible. I love it. I do have some bad news. Now, I can't afford to sustain myself any longer just doing this full time, so I am going to have to get a part-time job, which means I'm not going to have as much time on the car, which is a shame, but I'll just keep plugging away, keep knocking out videos as often as I can, and we'll get this car finished and looking sick. I can't do it any longer. I've got a mortgage to pay, and I've got to eat, and I do really enjoy eating, so it's a shame, but let's get on with the shinge and get this tailgate flap working. Now I'm over here. I've had the weekend to think about what's going on with it. That corner is sitting up 10 mil high. Now, this isn't the perfect foundation to be getting everything nice and flat. I'm gonna have to take this bed or frame out, see how wonky it's sitting, and then adjust it and get it sitting nice. Hopefully I didn't make it too tight. So I'll take it out, put it on some flat ground. I found the flattest concrete I can, I think. You can see there is a little bit more of a gap on that left-hand side. That's the driver's side that's sitting up 10 mil. 10 mil is probably a little too much. If it was, say, 3 or 4 mil, I think I can get away with that. I'll sort this out, and then we'll put it back in the car. I think that just fell into place. Nice. 23 and a half. 23 and a half. I'm gonna say that's acceptable. There is a high point by the towers, but it's not that much. So now I can go back to the S-hinge, try and get the S-hinge working with the tailgate. I think if I can get that working, then we're good. We're set. Let's do that. We may need to change this slightly. So it comes down to how far away this end of the slot is to this end. If we need this to be a little bit longer, just to clear the bumper a little bit more, depending on the thickness of the tailgate, we may need this one to come up a little bit higher, so then this end sits a little bit lower and we can get the back of the tailgate to sit flat with the height of the bed. Please let this work. Okay, I've done these bolts up tight so I could weld it into position. It is very flimsy. It is just holding on, but I just want to prove the concept works. This is the first time I've done this. So, oh my God, it's gonna work. Oh, okay. Yes! Okay, now I can weld in some stops on the back here so that when it comes up, there is a stop right there. Okay, so it comes down to there's just no rigidity to it. I mean, that works. It works. Concept is proven. Now I need to strip the skin off of the jumbuck tailgate and then get this skin fitted. We got a tailgate. Yes! Success! Here's the cut up jumbuck tub, and we're gonna get a little bit of a win. The whole thing is just panel bonded together. So the sides fold and then panel bonded. The bottom is spot welded, but I think we want to keep all of this radius. So that means I'm going to cut all the way across. I've got a mark just here. I think I'm going to need to come down further, but instead of cutting straight up to my mark, I'll cut that line, peel the skin off, then I can get the E30 skin and just see how it's sitting on there, see how it wants to fit, and then I can cut further and further. The other thing to worry about again is this is pretty flat, where the E30 one has a bit of a radius on there. So we've got to work that out, but I mean, it's kind of really starting to come together. E30 skin jumbuck tailgate. Gonna need to clean out a lot of this so we can fit the tail light in both sides, and then start removing some of the height on all of these supports. We don't want to get rid of all of the support, but we want to get rid of the thickness. This is going to work. Yes! Basically decked it. I did a little bit of a boo-boo here where I kind of sunk a little too deep, but I mean, whatever. That should go in there. We need to get the bottom of this basically in line with the bottom, and then we use the excess material from the jumbuck tailgate to make up that little bit of a gap, and then just butt weld them together. It's going to be a really long weld. It just has to be done in this instance. I'll just make sure I keep it cool. I always do though. And we've got a tailgate. Well, we don't have a tailgate. We've got the idea of a tailgate, the concept of a tailgate. We've got the boot from the E30 that I think is the next spot that we have to cut up. Nice. Okay, so now that we've got this piece, I'm not going to need any of the latch or any of the bump stops. This badge is a dud, going to be replaced anyway. So I'll strip this back so it's just the boot. I don't even know what you'd call this anymore. Thing. And then we'll dummy fit it onto the tailgate we've got. Okay, I've worked out, I've got these little bits of 5mm plate. I've packed it out with the cardboard, but there's too big of a gap to be able to weld from one panel to the other. So if I slide these little bits of 5mm plate, I should be able to attack each panel to that little plate, and then that will hold it together. And there we have it. Oh, let's zoom out. Oh, no, out, not in. And there we have it. Tacked together in multiple spots, so it'll hold together while I'm messing around with it. When it comes to building the final unit, I think what I'll do is I'll get a 5x15, 5x20, shove it in the gap, and then weld the entire way along both pieces. I have done a bunch of back and forth test fitting, cutting, test fitting, cutting. You guessed it, some test fitting went after that. And I think we're at a point where it kind of looks like a tailgate, which I mean, I would hope it is. So I've cut down the jumbuck tailgate in all of the spots it needs to be cut down. I've cut out what I think is enough for the E30 tail lights, but I need to get a set of them out to double check. It's really starting to look like a tailgate now. Next things that we have to think about is tail lights. And I think given that when you look at an E30 tail light, and I've seen a couple of tailgates done on E30s where they've split down here where the indicator is, which then means I can use the edge of the boot as the edge of the tailgate, and the fact that I've cut this panel short means that I can get rid of that and it's not an issue. We then cut across down here and we have the indicator in the chassis still, which is sick. It also means that this cut that I've done here, which it looks like I've cut it short, but if the indicator isn't attached to the tailgate, there's plenty of thickness still behind the tail light to lower the whole E30 panel down a little bit, which then means that that panel isn't cut short. I just need to get it closer to it. Then in turn means the tailgate will be a little bit thinner. I currently have an issue with how thick this is. That doesn't look like a tailgate thickness. It looks odd. So I'll take the tail lights out. I'll probably cut these bad boys up. I've got one side where I can leave the indicator as the good side, and then on this other side, the indicator's a dud, so I'll leave the brake lights and tail lights as the good side. So I'll cut those bad boys up now. Cool. So you can see this is the side that I wanted to keep. There we have a E30 Ute tail light. That works really well. I sanded it back to get rid of as much of the orange on this side, cut across, and I can now cut this bit out, which is good. It means I didn't make a mistake. That's starting to look like a serious E30 tailgate. From here, now we'll attach this to the back of the jumbuck tailgate, and then we need to work out the structural side of attaching the whole tailgate to the hinges, and then we can have an actual look at a fully functioning E30 tailgate. That sounds ridiculous, but I can't wait to try it. Let's do it. Yes! Now we need to attach the hinge mechanism to this tailgate with a certain amount of strength so it doesn't just fall apart. Made some little 50 by 50 angle templates. So one can sit there, one can sit there. It clears the light. I can weld it to the jumbuck frame in the corner and then still have the hinge attach on the inside. Once I templated it, I jumped ahead and just made it. This bad boy is going to sit in here. I can get a good beater weld all the way around it, and then that should be solid. So I'll tack these in. Then I'm going to have to remove the bracket off of the chassis because it's not in the right spot. Well, it could be, but I don't know yet. Maybe I'll test that before I cut them off, just to make sure. We have a tailgate, a functioning flat tailgate. There may be some adjustment that needs to be done, but I mean, how sick is that? Very, if you weren't sure. Sturdy as, bro. These are now attached. The shinge, the slide part of the hinge, we have what hopefully will be a functioning tailgate. Because I've brought in the slide part of the hinge closer, you can see these little marks here, and then on the other side here, that is where the slide bit is going to go in when the tailgate is closed. So I'm going to get a 13mm drill bit, drill a couple of holes, air saw it from one to the other. Then we've got our slots. Then the bracket will be able to be welded on, and we'll have the nut on the inside so we can undo the tailgate from the inside. All right, we are so close to a functioning tailgate. I can almost taste it. Let's drill some holes. Halfway there. I still need to have this slot come through, and I want it to be fairly accurate. So I'm gonna have to do some measuring around and then drilling from underneath. I won't bore you with that. No, I won't do that either. I've cut some big old slots, both sides, and I've had to cut a little bit of, ooh, I left that on there. I've had to cut a little bit of a angle on there. Again, just prototypes. I can make them look pretty on the next one. This now should sit. So let's put you on the tripod so you get a good view. I haven't test fitted this yet. Well, I have when it didn't fit. This time, it should fit. It still needs more. Oh. This time, it's gonna work. I promise. Yes! Look! How fucking cool is that? Okay. Calm down. Now all I need to do is bolt these brackets to the side. The tailgate's working. Taste it. I can almost taste it. Brackets. So, this bad boy is gonna go right there. I've got to cut a little bit off of this just because I don't want a big old spike sticking out the side of my gear. Yeah, okay. I've hit it. Mark that one. Now mark the other one. I'm going to do 2 more cuts and then slightly modify the slot. The slots aren't high enough, so I'm just going to need to die grind them out. Then I can weld these on and then we can watch in amazement. Where'd my lid go? Ah, my lid. This is going to work. How sick is that? In this position, I can get the final dimensions for the shinge, which means we can have it sitting at the right height and come out past the bumper, which is absolutely awesome. It's got a good weight, good feel to it. It feels like a goddamn tailgate. There are still some kinks to work out. Having the arms guided in so it's not, you don't have to fumble around with it. It's a tailgate.
Hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the flip side.
We've got the tailgate, the tub, the second-hand rear quarter, and the brand new rear quarter. These are going to need to start getting cut up. Once we sort that out, we can then really kind of finalize the tailgate, and then we just wait for this damn panel brand new. I'll get it eventually. So I think the first thing we need to do is cut up this tub so I know it's going to fit into the car. When the tub was sitting in the car last, I drew some pencil marks on where it needs to be cut. How fucking cool does it already look? I trimmed along here. It needs to drop down considerably. I have this little lip that needs to come off, and then the same thing over here. So we just have the base. Just looking at this thing just puts a big old smile on my dial. Once we've got the base in, we can work out the height, trim all the way across the bottom, like cut across there. So then the roof is at the right height. We've got a little bit more that we need to drop down. So I would say it's probably, that's maybe 60 mil that we need to drop it down. And then I'll put it all back together and see what it looks like. This is so cool. Now we have our next issue. The roof is cut to the right height, and I was even able to keep the transition flat. That is a major win. But the next issue is this whole line sits up high. The M3 panel kind of tapers off at the bottom. So back here is like 50 to 60 mil too high. At the front, it's a little bit less, say 20 to 30. Every step is going to need a large amount of thinking, planning, measuring, cutting. And I think we're only in the thinking stage because I don't want to make any mistakes. Let me get my brain bean juices flowing for this bad boy. Okay, now that we've got everything cut up, I can start piecing things together and work out where more bits need to be cut. As you can see, this is the tailgate, and the jumbuck tub is too tall. The plan is I basically need to cut this whole section off just to get rid of it completely. I'll offer the recorder up just so you can get a better picture of what it's going to look like and how it's all going to fit together. Oops. This has to be removed, and I probably need to build this entire wall from scratch. If I can keep this piece intact, you can see that there's a little seam just going across here. So that's one piece. This is the radius. I can unpick across here and then maybe just tilt the whole thing down a little bit more. So it'll be a little bit more straight down, and then sweep across so I can get it low enough so it's in line with the M3/4. Yes, that is a much better plan. Let's do that, Lewis. Yeah, baby. That would be an absolute nightmare for me to make that. Yeah, this is gonna work. This is sick. Unpick these, unpick the inside, and then this whole section will come off in one nice clean piece. Nice. Taking more and more off. Every now and then I think, no, we're at the rebuilding stage. And then I just cut more panels off. That clears up the majority of our issues. Now I just need to get this out of the way and the recorder can go on, which is absolutely awesome. The sooner this thing looks like an M3, I don't know, the happier I'll be. I'm already happy. Yeah, I'm already happy. Next step, I've had a look at it. Cut straight across. I don't need any of this. I've got the internal wheel arch that's going to come up and cover all of that anyway. Cut straight down. Just get rid of it all. I do have a little aluminium plate under here that I'll need to remove. We want to push this in, and then it's almost lined up with the original. We might just need to dock the corner off, and then we can still use this part to spot weld everything back together. Now, that can be pushed in further. And that then clears. Yeah, cool. Now we can cut all of this out, offer up the panel, and then probably cut some more. I don't know. Fuck yeah. Okay. Oh no, I put the clamps too far away. God damn it. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, it just looks so good. Okay. So. Oh, yes. That honestly looks and works so ridiculously well. This top lip that gets spot welded lines up absolutely perfectly with this bit from the jumbuck. Like, what the hell? Did they plan for me to do this? Did they plan for someone to do something this ridiculous? It seems like it. Holy cow. So, we just... It's gonna work. Oh my God. Down there. Yeah, right. And then I can just trim that. Holy cow. What the hell? We have had some huge questions answered while cutting up in this video. I think I now have a really good plan of action and how to get this assembled. So, I'll try to run through it as best I can and then fix it up in editing if I need to put it in a different order. You know what? Fuck you, Workshop Lewis. So we remove this side panel, we adjust the rear panel, get it sitting in the center. I can then get the other rear quarter, put it on the other side, and then know that it's all gonna fit. The spot welds are gonna line up with the spot welds. We then treat it as 4 separate panels. We get the rear panel in position, finalized. We get the base in position, finalized. We then spot weld them together, bring them together. From there, we create 2 panels, both sides, incorporating these as the wheel arch. We spot weld that to the base, both sides. At that stage, we have an E30 tub assembly, which is awesome. The absolute majority of this rear quarter is still going to use all of its factory locations for its spot welds. All we're going to need to do is join the upright panel, the wheel arch panel, from here to here, as well as make a plate that holds a latch for the tailgate. The tailgate's already built. I'm a little shocked at how well all of these dimensions are lining up and how easy it's all coming together. I'm now really confident that when I take the brand new panel out and start cutting it up, that I will be cutting it up in the right spot. Let's build an E30 Ute. $13.70, half of $13.70, $6.50. God damn it. $13.70. $15 off 700. $6.85. That took too long. We've now got the overall width, so I can halve it, mark across either side, and then we know where exactly we need to cut on this panel, both sides. This can fold in. I can then cut a section out of this corner to make sure I'm still keeping it within the allotted distance. Then this bit is basically ready, other than I need to pull this little bit of track off. But 685 from the center, we are not far off. Oh man, that's so good. We're cutting an extra 15 mil off. Sick. I think that's pretty much all of the modification I'm going to need to do to this. Obviously, I've just tacked things together to make sure they work, but I've brought it all in to the point where it should be inside the rear quarters, and these spot weld locations should match up with the spot weld locations on the E30, which is nuts. Let's test it. How do I do this? This is going to look awkward. We're still just slightly too big. How much are we too big? Like 5 mil. Eee. It's so close. Yarg. I gotta get it closer. Give me a second. Like some of it lines up.
Yeah.
Let me just get this on. And we're good. I think the time has come. I'm having a lot of trouble with the second-hand panels just because they're so far gone on the lower section. I can't, it doesn't fit right. I had this one up just a second ago to see how much better it fits, and it's a brand new genuine panel. It fits perfectly. Getting the inner wall just here, I need exact measurements. I can't build something when it's not sitting properly, which now brings us to the time where I cut up the brand new panel that I've got. I'm gonna cut up, across in this corner, and then down. I don't need all of this, but I don't know where it's gonna end up exactly, so I'm gonna leave it on there. Oh, I'm nervous. All right, let's just do it. I don't want to do this. Oh, I hope I did that right. Fuck, that looks so good. Yeah, sick. I just completely destroyed a $3,000 panel for what I hope is the right reason. Honestly, you really cannot beat OEM. It just fits so nicely. Everything lines up. I've got to take the second skin of the B pillar off, and then that will sit flat. But just everything is so clean. This is going to be an absolute dream to reattach to this car. I've got the inner wheel arch, so that's going to be a breeze. Whoop, sorry door. The car kind of reminds me of like Two-Face right now. Like, yeah, sick, look at that. And then you go over the other side and you're like, oh, what the hell happened? With all of the questions that I had being pretty much answered with the brand new panel, I'm so glad I've gone with the brand new one over the second-hand one. It's just, again, so clean. Now that I know a little bit more of how it's all going to go together, I think everything comes off. Start prepping the chassis so that when I am ready to weld that bed frame down, it's not going to corrode, it's not going to get shitty in the future. Let's keep carrying on. We've made such great progress in the last couple of days, or even the last couple of weeks. Let's keep kicking goals and getting this thing done. I found another issue that I now have to fix that first. On the bed, there is a rail and it sits up 5 to 6 mil, which was creating a rock in the bed. It wasn't my frame. Funnily enough, I did that pretty well. But what it does mean is that I can either have the front of the car sit lower, which I really need to make sure that the back panel, the jumbuck back panel, fits the rear fender, rear quarter panel. So I can push it down and that works out well for there, but then I'm pushing it up here, which then puts this level out. So I have to fix that issue. I have to cut out part of the bottom of it and put a channel in just to make sure that it's going to sit down flat on the rest of the bed. I'm just going to mess around off camera. Hello, Scam Hotline. Ah, dang it. What was I talking about? Dang it. I'm going to do all of that stuff on the frame off camera because it would be a lot of talking when it's just going to be easier for me to have it there sitting and you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let me do that. Then I'll probably get caught up doing something else because I have to say I apologize to editing Lewis. You're so lucky, pal. You're so lucky. I also don't know what I'm doing. This video is going to be a nightmare. I started with intentions of doing one thing and I've just forked off every time I thought, yep, that's what I need to do. It wasn't what I needed to do. I needed to do something before that, and then before I got to that bit, I needed to do something before that bit. I apologize if this video is a little bit chopping and changing. There's just a lot of small things that need to be done, and there's no manual on this. There's no, well, this is step 58. You should have done this first. I'm just making it up. Thanks for sticking with me. Modified. Hopefully successfully. So you can see that one, and then the same thing over the other side, sit a little bit higher. I needed clearance. So I've cut out train tracks, then gotten some 75 by 25, cut out the frame, then sunk in a bit of extra steel, just so it has clearance for these two lines, chassis lines, I guess. I can flip this over and now I can finally do the slats. And that is a great success. You can see the frame is just sitting down lower. We've got clearance all the way around and it's still got a lot of strength to it. From the base to that corner is 780 both sides, so we're sitting nice and even. Another small win. First one, number one, made a mistake. Ay, ay, ay. Really strong foundation to build up from. All of these slats are in line with the spot weld, so I can just plug weld those bad boys down. This is going to be really strong. Now that I've got like a pretty good idea, I can send all of these pictures to my engineer. He can go, yep, that's good. Or he can go, we've got to remove both wheel arches and both of these little bits of the B pillar. Now let's tackle the wheel arch and get that out of the way as well. I cannot get in there with a drill. So I'm gonna have to sand every spot wheel down, and there is just like a huge amount of seam sealer on the inside. It's gonna be a little bit, it's not gonna be as straightforward as I had hoped, but it's coming off one way or another. Actually, that was a joke, but I think that's actually a terrific idea. Look, Ma, no clearance issues. Look at all of this space we got. Sweet. That's one side off. We've done the B pillar, so now I just need to do the exact same thing on the other side. And I think we're getting real close to not having to take whole panels off. Surely I've forgotten about something, but I think we're really close. Like, there's not much left to cut off the car. I've sanded everything in this to 80 grit. I have rust treated the whole cage with deoxidine and some red Scotch-Brite. I just want to get this prepped. Picked up some paint. I shouldn't need to prime. This is everything. The only thing is, if you put this on there, you can never paint it with anything else ever again, which is fine. It's just a satin black. This will all be one beautiful color. Before we do that, I've dug out some of the seam sealer just to get that platform as low as I can. I need to etch prime all along here and then re-seam seal, and then I can put that black coating on it. Just slap it on there. Get it all covered. I've never done seam sealer. I've seen other people do it. Can't be that difficult. I'm gonna mask it up. I've got some cheap, like, Bunnings brushes so I can give it that OEM look. But again, I don't really have any experience doing this. That was the absolute first time I've ever done seam sealer, and I'm not disappointed. I think I did that pretty well. Surely someone out there is going to go, oh boy, Lewis, you buffoon. Why? Why did you do that so poorly? And to that I say, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I really don't. Cool. Okie dokie. We are sealed. It's the next morning. It's all dry. And I just want to show you something that I've noticed. So I removed this bracket over here yesterday, and it took me a couple minutes. I've gone maybe a little bit deep on the spot weld drill bits, but when you look at that and compare it to what I did when I first started this project, like, there is a huge difference in skill, patience, ability. There's a hole there, hole there, hole there, hole there. And how much just a little bit of time, a little bit of learning can improve your skills. And good work, me. Good work. Now that I've said that, I've got to repair this. All of the holes are gone. It's not ideal, but in an ideal world, I wouldn't even have to make this car because BMW would have already done it. So, I mean, you take what you get. We're primed. Time to bog. So anywhere that's primed that doesn't have seam sealer, I'm going to put a little bit of bog on. You can see I've just got these little spot weld drill bit points that I want to clean up. I believe everything is now prepped. Towers are looking a little bit nicer. Again, you never believe this, I've never bogged a car before. I've done builder's bog on like window frames, but never anything on cars. So, another first. Came up pretty good. Let's just slap some paint on there. I'm going to do 2 coats of this. Wait an hour in between the first coat. And there we go, all one color. For those of you wondering why I've brushed the cage is going to be hidden behind interior trim parts. I want to keep the interior still looking OEM, and I can't think of any cars that have like a structural cage showing. It'll all be hidden behind upholstered things, panels, whatever. That's the first coat. I'll give this a little bit to dry and then do the second coat. We are all dry. Came up pretty good. I've put the plugs back in. There are 2 holes, one here and then one over there that I've put little grommets in. They had the cables coming up for the fuel tank. I'm going to seam seal the fuel tank hatch closed, and then if I need to change the fuel pump, it's going to have to be dropping the whole fuel tank. We've got 2 sets of news, good news and bad news. First news is I've gotten a part-time job, so I do this a little less. I've gotten a job in a bottle shop, so it means that I can close there, but come to the workshop first thing, mess around here, then go to work. Other news, engineer came, and this frame is too strong. If I was to get rear-ended, because this is such a solid frame, it would push the whole frame forward and basically crush me. Which, I mean, as much as I plan to not get rear-ended, can't really make solid not getting rear-ended plans, sadly. The engineer did give me a way out without completely getting rid of this or destroying it. So we need crush zones. In the rear, I've got to cut out a couple of triangles, close them up with some sheet steel, but then if I am to get hit, there's a bit of a zone that can fold in. All of these middle slats need to be cut out and replaced with 1.2 mil folded steel. So they'll still be 25 by 50, but it will mean there's less rigidity in it. So with these crush zones, we can aim the force down and they can buckle in without sending the whole frame forward. The next bit that I have to do is on either side of the frame, I have to cut this down to 30 mil and then weld a piece of sheet steel on there again, so there is a point for it to crumple. With all that said, I don't think it's too much of an inconvenience to cut it all up. I've ordered the slats. I don't have anything that can, well, I can cut the sheet, but I can't fold them because I need them 1400. The biggest folder I can get my hands on is about 1200. So let's cut this up, which is a shame, but it has to be done. Cut the V's out of the rear, box all of that up, get it all looking schmicko, and then when the slats come in, I'll weld all of the slats on, and then this can be fitted into the car. And then it's just a big rolling ball of putting panels on and getting this car looking more and more like a ute. So hopefully this now makes a little bit more sense. I've had to thin out this bit here. If I get hit from this end, I have a crumple spot here, and then I have a crumple spot here, instead of this whole thing just going bloop straight into my back. Thanks, Sot. Thanks for thinking of me when I'm getting rear-ended. That is everything cut off of the frame. We've got our triangles cut out. We've got the sides cut out. Now we just need to plate everything.
Hopefully that breaks if I get into a rear ender. No, actually, hopefully I never find out if it needs to break, because I never get into a rear ender. Yeah, let's go with that one.
Good luck, platey boys. Angle. Yeah? I don't want to get these on there too thoroughly because we want them to be a crush zone. I'm thinking if I cut down on the angle, I can then fold one side down
and then this larger face in, put some holes in them, and then just plug weld them on. Do a couple of folds. So now I can do a hole here, plug weld. A couple of holes here, plug weld. That's all we need to do. 7. I need to do it 7 more times. Okay, just so you all know that anytime you see someone do that click thing like I just did, that's the I can't be bothered filming it part. And I couldn't be bothered filming this. So, I am going to show you the last fold, just to show you the technique of what I'm doing and how I'm using the vise to get it all nice and look neat. So let's go over to the vise. Now I know not everyone has a vise. Some people have alcohol, some people have drugs. Mine's called Greg. So we've got our angle cut already. The first fold I'm doing is the larger tab. You can use it to push it over that way. I've got my line marked out, clamp it on the line, and then as I bring this down, I'm pulling it out. So this tab is getting pushed in, otherwise you can fold it out of square. So pulling it out, this tab wants to stay hard up against the vise, get it level, or 90 degrees to the fold. Tighten the fold, that's the first bend. We can then use that bend to sit on. You just want to make sure you're coming down square. And then I've just been giving it a little tap inside just to tighten up that fold. Now it's all nice and square, and that will fit into our frame quite nicely. We're back to where we were before. We've now got a little less strength in all of these slats. If someone hits me from the corner, the frame is no longer just going to crush me, which is good. It's a good thing. I've emailed the engineer asking how he wants me to fix this down, because I've gone over the top initially. I kind of feared that I might under-engineer the point that it joins to, and I was correct. He told me to do more than what I was thinking. The 2 diagonals of the roll cage, the frame gets welded to them. My initial thought was just having a single piece of angle, the width on the middle, plug weld, that's it. He's then said, no, you want to hold it on as much as you can around the perimeter, using the same technique though, where it's angle, I'll nibble out some holes and then plug weld this to the frame and then to the chassis. Then go to the engineer, hey, is this good enough? He can go yes or no. Eden's coming around to give me a hand on Monday. Now, in some really good news, BMW called me the other day. They have my panel. Yes! They have my panel. It's in Germany, it's getting sent. It will be sent over, so maybe 6 weeks maximum. But it means I've got the brand new panel, and it has been painful trying to get it. Thank you very much, Mark. You've been a big help. Thank you for sorting it out. And again, Matt, thank you for everything you did. I know you did as much as you could. And I'm really happy to have this panel on its way now. It's been like 5 hours and we haven't done anything. Well, we've talked. It's way more complicated than I thought. I've never built the car, and I'm glad Eden's here because he's kind of explaining it all to me, but god damn it, he has complicated it way more than I thought it would be. Thanks, okay. Eden.
That's what I'm here for. Do you want me to run them through a little bit?
Sure.
So basically, let's start with the gaps. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, when we first got here, we had to gap everything. And as you can kind of imagine, nothing's actually attached to the car. So we have no idea where the gaps should be. So what we have to work off is anything that's fixed, which is we've got this A-pillar, the roof line, and the sill panel. They're all fixed, so we basically worked off this body line of the quarter into the A-pillar and the bottom of the door into the sill were kind of the more fixed points. And then all the rest is a little bit floating, and we kind of just massaged until they were kind of like at a happy medium,
This
sort of thing.
This was the first big line that we had to get. Make sure the door gap to the fender is correct.
Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, we want to make sure like all these body lines are flowing into each other. That is flowing in, the quarter's not quite right because it's not attached.
So then we had an issue with this part of the panel. I had it jacked up just in front of the wheel arch, which, because there's no structure in the back, meant all of this weight was just sagging. So if this part of the panel gets brought down, then this part of the panel gets pulled back. So Eden eventually came up with the idea of moving the jack stands, which fixed a lot of our issues.
Yeah, basically, if you look at this like a big L, what was happening was because there's no jigging in here, it's kind of spread open a little bit, and we just needed to close that. And yeah, so what we're thinking now is we'll weld this frame in, then we'll actually jack the rear of the car up until we can get this door gap to be pretty good and this to line up with the B pillar there.
So to the E30 enthusiasts and people in the know, you may have noticed that I have this fancy door. This is an M3 door. The standard doors, because they have their little bump stop on the side, there's a little bit of a different kind of angle to it. This is an M3 door. It is also an M3 door with an intrusion bar, which you have to have in Australia. Not all M3 doors have the intrusion bar. European delivered ones don't, American delivered ones do, generally speaking, from what I've found out. If you have a right-hand side M3 door and no longer need it, can you please get in contact with me? Because I have one side all M3, the other side I just have the front fender. I do need the intrusion bar in the door to pass my engineering. The story of the door is kind of pretty cool. There's a crash shop in my city that already has an E30 ute, a well-known ute. It's kind of the whole reason I'm building my ute. In the 80s, they repaired an E30 coupe. They needed a door, asked for a door from their local dealership, and they were sent out an M3 door by accident. Instead of BMW asking for the door back, they just sent them out the coupe door. This has been in storage for 35 years. Never been fitted to a car. The first car that this has been attached to is this monstrosity. It was a local pickup, and just to think that there has been a door sitting around for 35 years waiting very specifically to go on my ute kind of makes me think it was all meant to be. Frame goes in, weld all of the supports in from the cage to the frame. Sick.
Okay.
This isn't coming out.
Okay.
This is going in. Let's just weld this in. The frame is officially welded in. It definitely isn't coming out now. The next step is this was one of the pieces that was originally going back to the outer wheel arch. I'm modifying it. This isn't the piece that I've modified. Where's the piece? This is the piece I'm modifying. It'll come down and then go onto the platform. And then we're gonna do a 25 by 25 angle welded here and then onto there. I hope I've done enough prep. I hope I've done this in the right order. But at the same time, I just really want to get a panel on. This is a huge project. And although I don't think I've bitten off more than I can chew, I'm definitely doing a lot more chewing than I thought I would be. And I feel like I just keep biting and I just keep chewing. Oh. if you're looking at this video in a couple of years' time and you're thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to start this gigantic project, just watch the rest of this series, because it has been eye-opening how little I know about what I'm doing and what I got myself in for. And I can't stop now. I've just got to build it. Just be aware of how much work is involved in this kind of project. And like, I haven't even gotten to the engine. I've still got rust repairs, fuel, wiring, air conditioning, cooling. This is huge. I'm so glad I didn't know what I was getting myself in for, because I may not have taken up the project. Let's get this wheel arch on. It's been a year since I started it, probably over. Let's weld our first panel onto the ute. Sick. I think down here is the first weld, and I'm going to work back down that way. I do need to just prep the other face and a couple of bits where I'm going to be MIGging. I'll do that and then we'll weld it on. I hope this all works out. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yes! First panel is on. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 panels left. Nice. If I didn't have work in a couple of hours and it wasn't, say, like 9:15 in the morning, I would 100% crack open a beer right now. B-pillar looks really good. Door gap looks really good. Down the bottom, I did have to adjust the door when I took it off jack stands, but it's all looking really good. Let's hope that this is correct. We won't know immediately, but I will eventually find out. That still looks pretty good. Sick. Obviously, there's heaps more welding to be done, and I don't want to do all of the... I don't want to completely attach it just yet, because I need to make sure that every other panel is going to kind of work. If this is the first video of mine you've watched, check out the one where I built the tailgate. I learnt a huge amount over that video. You might also enjoy that one. As I said earlier on in the video, I've had to get a part-time job. I've been doing small fabricating jobs here and there as well, just to make it so I can continue doing this without getting a full-time job. I have now heard from BMW Adelaide that they have secured me the other side panel, which is amazing because this whole project doesn't work unless I get the other side. But with this side on, I now have a huge amount of work to be done. Small B-pillar panel, floor, rear wall, strip the roof off, put the roof panel on, get those two married up nice and neatly. There's just like, I think with all of that being said, thank you very much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this video. Although I want this to be my full-time job, it isn't just yet. So stick with me and let's build an E30 ute. Cheers.